lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fanatics Collect Premier Auction Extended Bidding Watch Party here for September the 19th, 2024, live from the hotel in Philadelphia for the Philly Show. My name is Jeremy Lee, and I'm happy to be here with you. A little bit different tonight, but we're going to make this work. Loving my new little hotel room studio, actually. Sorry about the lighting, but we're going to have a fun show. Lots of amazing cards. Let's bring out none other than Mr. Adam Gray, your real 27 guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so good. I already miss your big cards in the background and your normal setup. And but you know, we're like the mailman. Come rain or come shine, you and I are doing this show. So it's a great day to be here. And I know I've been looking forward to it. Have you been looking forward to it?
I have been. You know, I had a long day of travel today. I had a long Uber ride from the Philadelphia airport to here. The driver kept on like putting his foot on the brake. I was nauseous for like 50 full minutes in the car. I came here. I'm like, how am I going to do it? But then I went to go get dinner. There's a restaurant, a 3-minute walk. I walk in there and I see this guy looks familiar. I pull up his account on Instagram. I walk up to him and I go, hey, is this you? And it's Alex from Army ATC on Instagram. And he's like, yeah, Jeremy, that's me. Are you by yourself? I'm like, yeah, you. Yeah. So we sat down and we had a nice meal together. And what a great way to really kick off the weekend for me by, someone I've never connected with before. We've DM'd a couple times, but never connected in person. And just a great kickoff to the weekend here and a nice sort of early start to my evening that I now get to spend with you. So I'm in a great mood. I'm excited for tonight. And yeah, we've got some great cards tonight, don't we?
I know no one more sociable, no one who I would expect to walk up to a hobbyist to say, hey, I think I know you. And I love that. It's a great quality in you. You're one of the faces of the hobby. And I say that and all the love. It's totally true. And for you to go up to somebody else and be like, hey, is this you? You probably made his day in doing that. So way to do that. That's awesome, man. Yeah,
we had a nice dinner together. And walk back here. I'm going to catch a ride with him in the morning over to the Philly Show. My first Philly Show. I'm excited to check it out. And I'm excited for tonight, though. We already got some people in the chat. We are streaming live to Instagram as well. If anyone is watching on Instagram, I do recommend come on over to YouTube. It is a better experience there. And Adam, I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing my Hobby Hustle shirt, my Zach Nyget Hobby Hustle shirt. That I know you have one as well, right?
I do, yeah. I actually love that shirt. That's one of my favorite shirts. So it's
very
cool.
Comfy, very comfy.
I got the trophy husband shirt on tonight that my wife gave me, which I also am a big fan of.
Very nice, very nice. Well, why don't we? I'm just looking over the other monitor. I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at because if you follow my content, you know that I love these Babe Ruth cards, the 33 Goudies. I'm looking over at those. But while we keep those up on the screen, just for some eye candy, let's say hello to the good professor. What is going on? We've got Vintage Card Collector is back. Jacob Dahl is here. Mr. Michael Hathaway, the Crystal Ball is with us. Laura is here. Good to see you, Laura. Jason Newman, good evening. Jeffrey Kennedy, good evening. Good evening to you as well. That's Adam right there, basketball card fanatic. Guys, bcfmag.com. Make sure you're subscribed. And we already have a question from Jacob. Let's just see what he says. I have a question that's been puzzling me for a while. When jambalaya cards get submitted for grading, since they have no corners, do the corners always grade a 10 by the grading companies? I believe the answer is yes, but Adam, you might be able to validate that. What are your thoughts?
I am already thinking about the process of going through and sorting all of the Beckett records to ensure that that's the case. Jacob, I'll check after the show. I don't know for sure, but we'll check after the show.
That's a great question. It's a great question. I believe the answer is yes, because I've had several graded jambalayas through my collection, and I've only ever seen 10. There are no corners. I guess they couldn't just say NA in the subgrade section, so they end up saying 10, which is a lot better than it doesn't apply. Leo is with us, Collectibles on Instagram. What's up, Leo? Guys, come on over to YouTube if you would like the better experience there for viewing our show. As we look at these cards, we can interact with you in the chat. And yeah, I mean, listen, let's get into it, Adam. Should we get into it? What do you think? You want to start talking about these cards?
You know I do. Let's do it.
All right, we are sorted by oldest year. Now, there are, I think, 160 or 150 something items in the auction, but I have isolated just the sports cards, Adam, because we don't know much about the TCG. If anybody would like us to cover any TCG, feel free to ask. It's a click away and we can take a look at them. But let's get through the sports cards first. I think that is our priority here. I know that's my priority. And Adam, I know that it is yours as well. So we're going to, Lantern, what's going on? I see you there. Lantern's about to get married, everybody. Wish Lantern a congratulations.
Hey, congrats, man. That's awesome.
And a happy upcoming wedding. So we're going to start with a couple of 33 Gaudies. And we're going to start with the Babe Ruth and the Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth number 53, the yellow background, and the standing batting pose number 144. And if you follow me on Instagram or YouTube for that matter, you definitely know that I recently picked up a PSA 1 of this number 144, and it instantly became my favorite card in my collection, which is kind of saying a lot for somebody who's been collecting for over 40 years. And I just love this card. Now, this example here is a PSA 4.5, and I've looked at it, and this thing is absolutely stunning from a corners and edges perspective, even centering. It's a tad off center to the right, but this is basically as good as you're going to get. So I would call this to be like optimal centering, optimal corners, optimal edges, and it grades out a 4.5, which you ask why, and I don't know exactly why. It's the only thing I see with this card, Adam, that is a sort of a flaw is there seems to be some registration issue. You can kind of see a line over here, and the ear kind of looks a little bit blurry. But aside from that, and it's minor, this to me, this presents like a 7. There must be something wrong with it that causes it not to be a 7. I'm just going to open up the item listing itself so we can take a look at the back and see if there's something going on in the back. It does have the exceptional eye appeal rating from PWCC. The back looks beautiful as, oh, I see the problem. Okay, guys, if you look at the back, look at the top edge on the back, you can see some definite scuffing, a bit of a clumping of the edge of the stock right here, maybe some paper loss at the top here. But I'll tell you what, that's going to save you tens of thousands of dollars. And to me, that is good value. This bottom right corner on the back has a ding as well. There might be some surface issues that we can't see here in 2 dimensions. But guys, this card, I agree with everything about it. I agree. I think even PSA, listen, that back, it's unfortunate that the technical grade is so low. But this card is absolutely spectacular. I completely agree with the exceptional eye appeal rating given by PwC. I'm actually surprised, Adam, they didn't give it superior. Like Jason Newman says right here, it's the best 4.5 ever seen. Now, what do you think? Before we even talk about the number 53 beside it, what do you think of everything with this card and what I just mentioned?
Well, I always love the idea that you can find a card that looks like something better than what you're having to pay for. That's a good thing. I'm a big fan of getting a card that you love and you love the way that it looks and having to pay a fraction of the price for it. Honestly, that's how most of the cards in my collection have been, where I couldn't afford like the 10 or the 9 or the really nice card, but maybe I could afford one that has like a little error or a little issue with it. And especially in this case, Jeremy, where it's on the back, where you're sort of hunting for what might be the issue. Like that's the best. And you know what? You're not even going to see it until you zoom in. And when you see it, you go, oh, I see it. There it is. But if it takes you a while to find it, that's a good thing.
Well, and when I see it, all I think to myself is great. $20,000, $30,000 sitting in my pocket to buy another card with, because I want that there. That's perfect.
What would a 7? Maybe somebody in the chat can look it up for us. What would a 7 on any of the 33 Gaudis sell for?
This one in particular, I believe I've seen 7s go for north of like 60, 70K. So yeah, we also have the number 53, which up until recently was my favorite of the bunch of the 4 cards. And this is a PSA 2.5. It's at $8,750. Let's take a look at this card now. And listen, I mean, centering is wonderful. The corners, I kind of wish this top left corner was more rounded to make it uniform with the other ones, and then it could get my official sexy corners assessment and designation. It's kind of missing that symmetry there, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. It has issues, but great color, great image. You know, his face is unencumbered. I think it's a nice copy. You know, it's got edges. It's got issues around the top edge here, some staining there, something going on over here with a bit of a red ink stain over there. And the corners have rounding, but that's okay. I like rounded corners on my vintage. I think it's fairly graded at a 2.5. I don't take issue with that at all. And $87.50, and it does have PWCC top 30% eye appeal, which I think is applicable here as well, because the image itself does look very, very good. So I really like it. Adam, any thoughts on this one, even if you want to compare it to the other one?
Great thoughts. So maybe I missed it, and sorry, I started typing in the chat there for a second. The yellow was your favorite. Is the one on the left of it now, is that now your favorite one of the four?
It's not only my favorite one, Adam, it's like my favorite card in the whole hobby.
So and again, if you already said it, I'm sorry. I did tune out for a second. What changed your mind?
Well, I acquired one. Okay. And I acquired it, and I think I really love that I acquired a PSA 1
it's the best,
right? Like, I acquired a PSA 1 copy of the card, and it's a copy that, as Michael Hathaway says here, should be like a 5.5. Like, it's that nice for the grade. So I feel like I just got the best value possible at low grade. If you were to say to me 2 months ago, hey, Jeremy, your favorite card 2 months from now in your collection is going to be a PSA 1, I would have thought, so you mean I'm getting like a
Wagner,
like a 52 tops Mickey Mantle with paper loss on the back, or right, something like that. You know, I didn't, and that I don't even know if that would be my favorite card. I like Babe Ruth better. I love the card. It's just the full batting pose as opposed to the number 53 in the middle here, which just has him with the bat resting on the shoulder, you know, from the waist up sort of thing. Adam, when I hold the card, it's just a feeling that I get that makes me just love the card.
I want to comment on this real quick, because I had a similar thing happen to me a few years ago with a card that you wouldn't have expected to happen with. I always tell people I'm a rare card collector, and I collect these things that are like more modern, and they're not limited to high numbers, but I think that they're really cool for different reasons. But a couple of years ago, I was able to acquire a Mikan, the 48 Mikan, and it's in an altered case. An altered SGC case, and whether it's actually altered or not is another story for another day. But I love, like, I got this card in the mail, Jeremy, and I just like held it and looked at it and like turned it over in my hands, and just like I kept it on my desk for a lot longer than I normally do. There's something special about seeing something that's that old, even if maybe there's a few more copies of it than the other cards that maybe sometimes I collect. Like, and there's special things about all of the cards, but for more modern collectors who sort of poo-poo vintage and say, oh, these are super high pops, there's something really cool about the age, and about like Babe Ruth was playing when that card was made. How cool is that? It's incredible.
And there's something about getting a card in such low grade. Like, that's my favorite thing about it. And I mean, I love the card, but I love that I feel like I got such great value, because it just presents so much better than the technical grade, and yet the hobby, you know, that's why eye appeal assessments are important. If you don't have that skill yourself, is because, you know, you can tell that this card technically, because there's some technical flaw with it that causes the grade to go down, yet the card itself is so nice. And that both of these copies here tonight offer that exact same thing at higher price points. Well, especially on this on the number 144 PSA 4.5, which I was halfway there. Both Michael Hathaway and Jason Newman confirmed that the last 7 in the number 144 sold for, Jason Newman says 138. Michael Hathaway rounds to 140, 140K. And here tonight, you can buy this one for, well, we don't know yet. The auction isn't over, but it's sitting at 24.5, which is about 30 after the juice. So, I mean, just fantastic value here. Vintage Card Collector says the number 144 is his favorite of the 4 cards, because Babe Ruth has 4 cards, because the image is so much different than the others, plus way more color depth. Yeah, like exactly. Way different, because the yellow and the red, so there's a red background which has the exact same image as this. There's a green background which has him looking a lot older, kind of slumping on the side, not in action. And then there's the action shot right here. So they are just wonderful cards. A quick hello to Jeffrey Hart, who has joined us. Daniel, I am at a hotel. I'm at the Philly show in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm excited to be here right now for sure. We also have Hobby Champ says 28 people in the chat. Come on, guys, hit that like button. Thank you, Hobby Champs. Diamond Card Collector, welcome to the show. And Orlando, thank you for the congratulations on my Babe Ruth. I couldn't be happier to add that to the collection. Okay, we also have the 1935 National Chickle Newt Rockne in an SGC 8.5. And Adam, the price of $4,900 seems very low to me right now. This is the same set that the Bronco Nagurski comes from. There comes a bid as we're talking about it to $5,000. The Bronco Nagurski comes from the same set, and I would venture to guess that this is the second most important card in that set. I might be wrong. Let me know if I am in the chat, but this is also a very important card, and this looks to be absolutely stunning. Let's take a quick look at the front of it right now.
As you're pulling it up, I have to tell you a quick story. When we did the Iconic 100 a couple years ago, when it was the old PWCC, I called the Nagurski the National Chickle, and we had a guy internally who's very, very smart on old vintage stuff named Andrew Kirshner, and he corrected me. It's actually pronounced Chicle, National Chicle. And I actually did some research, and he was correct about that. So I'm telling you that because everybody who I know calls it Chickle, but I think it should be Chicle.
Chicle. And it's like Chick-fil-A, or I think the reason I say chickle is because of chiclets, the old gums, those little.
I thought that's what it was. That's exactly what I thought. But he told me, he's like, no, it's something else. And
National
Chicle.
Right. Thank you. I have no problem changing it so I can say it properly. This National Chicle Newt Rockne is a beautiful. Look at the centering, the edges, the corners, slight staining in the border up here, but this thing is just gorgeous, and it's sitting at $5,250 now. We've had 2 bids come in since we started talking about it, guys. All access extended bidding starts in about 12 minutes. And David G says Newt is pronounced Canute.
I've never heard that in my life. Is that true? I've never heard that.
Spanish for gum, says Jeff Kennedy. So that's why I call it chickle, because the chiclets. I remember walking the boardwalk in Puerto Vallarta, and you'd get the little kids would be selling you the gum, the chiclets gum. Maybe I should be calling them the chiclets gum or something. Something like. Are you serious? You're saying to David you don't believe it?
I've never heard that before. I've heard of Newt Rockne a million times, and maybe I've just missed it. But there's names like, Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's some people who call him Giannis, and some people call him Giannis. He's like one of the most famous basketball players in the world, and we still don't know how to say his name. So,
some people call him Giannis. Okay, next row we have 2 absolutely iconic Willie Mays cards, and we have the 53 Topps Jackie Robinson with the NBA Eye Appeal gold sticker, a Superior Eye Appeal PWCC sticker. And it's beautiful. And I call these 2 iconic. I didn't say iconic here, but this is an iconic card too. They're all absolutely stunning. Let's take a look at each of these, the images of each of them, and just sort of go through how they look for the grade. So we're going to start with the Willie Mays. This is an SGC 5.5. And this is a wonderful copy from a centering perspective. The corners are great. I will come back to that. The edges are really nice. I see 3 issues with this card that I'd like to point out. So the first one is this bottom left corner. As you can see, it is missing a bit of that very top like gloss layer. So, but not bad, not a deal breaker for me. A little bit of surface wear, in this brown, whatever that is in the background, a little bit of surface wear. Again, not a deal break, wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. The thing that does bother me the most is this fisheye right on the name bar. I'm not a fan of fisheyes on the name bar, but again, it's a game of trade-offs, and this is a place where maybe you're going to trade away this fisheye in exchange for this wonderful centering and the overall strong copy. I think it's a great copy. And I'm almost, oh no, it does. Yeah. You know what? It's funny. It's got the eye appeal rating, but they didn't put the little logo up over here like they did for the Jackie. So in any event, it does have it. I'm going to go through all three, Adam, and then we'll get your thoughts on them. Okay.
Great.
52 Tops, Willie Mays, PSA 7, iconic card. You know, this card should be on par with the Mantle from the same set, except for the fact that the Mantle is from the high numbers and is a rarer card. But this is still a very important Willie Mays card. And look at this thing. I mean, yeah, it's off center to the left, but other than that, like that top edge is great, not perfect. The corners are just one. Like this is to me, this is high grade vintage. You know, anything higher than this, like 8, 9, and you're like, okay, well, that's out of the range anyway. This is still, what's this at right now? The 7. It's already at, you know, 28.8 here to buy this card tonight. But this is, I mean, worth every penny as far as what you're getting for the technical grade here. I think it's a brilliant copy. If it was better centered, Adam, maybe this would be a 7.5. I don't know if it would get an 8 because PSA does have loose standards when it comes to centering. So I'm going to say if this had a little bit better centering, maybe it's a 7.5. A great copy. I would love to own it. And then finally in this row is the second year Tops, the 53 Tops, Jackie Robinson. This card to me, Adam, is absolutely beautiful. I love the picture of Jackie. As far as condition goes, I mean, those corners are sharp. The edges are sharp. The black borders are very nice. Minor white showing on the bottom right edge here. I don't see anything wrong with this card. I agree with the eye appeal assessments given by both MBA and Fanatics. And the grade of an 8, I mean, that seems almost punitive that this is only an 8. How is this not an 8.5? I don't know. A wonderful, this row of cards, I mean, we're starting off with 6 bangers here, Adam. I'd like to get any of your thoughts on this row.
Well, the only thing that I'll add on the Jackie is that it's the number 1 card in the set, which I think a lot of people obviously already know, but that's important because it's the second major top set. And at the time, I think I could be wrong about this, but I think he's the first African-American who ever was number 1 on a set. Were any of the Bowmans before that had an African-American's number 1 on the set? I'm not sure. But the number 1 card is usually damaged, usually has issues because of rubber bands, and you know everybody knows that history. But to see one as an 8 is obviously really cool. And then the question that I always ask between those Willie Mays is which one is the better known card? Which one's more iconic? With the Mantle, it's a really easy decision. The 52 is the more iconic card because that's the card, right? Like that's the card of the hobby. But with Mays, it's not as clear to me. It's not. I also, you mentioned Mantle being in the high numbers and being a little bit more rare. Mantle is also double printed in the high numbers. So I wonder, I'd like to do a pop comparison. And if anybody in the chat wants to do this, I'd be interested to know how the Mays compares to the Mantle. I don't know that off the top of my head. It may not even be close, but I'd like to see that.
Now, before we move on, I'd just like to remind everybody, if you are bidding on any items in the auction tonight, I have pinned to the top of the YouTube chat the Sports Cards Live affiliate code. If you would be so kind as to click that and go bid that way, I would greatly appreciate it. We'll earn SCL a small commission, support the channel and what I am doing here, and I greatly appreciate it. And Jason Newman says, following up on the question, a jambalaya sold with 9 corners on eBay on August 6th. So I wonder what the issue is. That I just wonder, Adam. I wonder. We can follow up on that.
If you had a little nick right on where the corner should be, would you call that an edge issue because it's not technically a corner, or would you say, well, we're gonna take that off the corner? It looks like Beckett in that situation deemed that to be the corner area, and so they gave it a 9 on the corner. So I haven't seen that before, haven't noticed it. So Jason, thanks for sharing that with us.
A corner, I would want to look up the definition of a corner. Is a corner something that is like a 90-degree type of thing, or not? I don't know. A discussion for another time, unless we have a jambalaya in this auction. All right. Continuing on, the 1955 Tops, Jackie Robinson. Now, this is a PSA 9. And I have a bit of minority perspective when it comes to the 1955 tops versus the 1956. My friend Matthew, 1956 tops guy, loves the 1956 tops. Seems like so many people love 1956 tops. It's their favorite set. I'm not a humongous fan of it aesthetically. I love the 55s with the action shot, the portrait shot, but the yellowed out or the no crowd in the background, because I just find it's such a cleaner looking card, and I like a clean card. And to me, this is super clean. This is a 9. This is an early graded copy by PSA, but it looks really nice to me. It's off center to the right, you can see, but gosh, those corners and edges appear to be just perfect. Like this copy, the black is wonderful. This copy is absolutely stunning. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't grade the 9 even today that it was awarded to it by PSA, and it's at $26,500 as we sit right now. Adam, I know you'll like to talk about this card, and somebody reached out to me on this card and said, you know, this thing looks really good. What are your thoughts? And this is a SGC 5 1957 tops Bill Russell, his rookie card. And when you look at it from here, I mean, this thing is spectacular. This card is so hard to find well centered, and this copy, while not perfectly centered, is absolutely stunning. And the centering is wonderful. It's just a little bit high on the cardboard canvas, but the side to side centering is almost bang on. And as we zoom in on it, I mean, this top left corner, it has an issue, and that's the reason why this thing is a 5. It has some slight snow issue on the back in the background here, but that's typical. Hard to find a copy without that. I'd like to hear from Jeff Hart. Jeff, if you don't mind, you know, just opining on what you think of this copy, because even with the snow in the background, like this copy, I would trade my PSA 6 for this SGC 5 type of thing. Like, I think this is now, if you know, put the pedal to the metal. Do I actually pull the trigger? I don't know for sure, but this is such a great copy. Slight corner issue at the bottom here, but this thing is just framed wonderfully, Adam. What are your thoughts on it? And if you'd like to talk about the Jackie, please go ahead as well.
One of the things that we've talked about before on the 55 tops, and we have to hit it because I think it's really, it's a cool point. The gradient of yellow in the background for the time is a really neat design feature. I don't know that we had seen anything like that before, right? We're actually not, what 15, 20 years as far as like colors, seeing more colors on well, I guess it's longer than that, but that yellow that moves from like lighter to sort of brighter as you move from left to right, I think it's a really cool feature. And to me, my eyes are drawn to that, and I think it's beautiful. I think all the colors are beautiful. But the other thing that I think is interesting here is that if you think about, if I look at the card and I just say, like, you know, how do I like the aesthetics of it? You mentioned it being off-centered. I actually didn't notice that. And so I sort of asked myself, like, why didn't I notice it? And it's because you have to look down to the black box, kind of, because otherwise you have to really focus on like where the border begins versus that like light yellow. And it's just not super noticeable. It's not something that like really stands out to me. So as far as good looking vintage cards, that's pretty high on the list. Any thoughts on that before I talk about the Russell?
I mean, I'm glad you point out the gradient. I love that about the 55s as well. The centering, yes, I mean, I know what to look for. That's why I called it out. But you're exactly right that it is tough to assess the centering on this card from a distance if you don't have the right lighting, because it's hard to see where the yellow starts over here. Now, if you zoom in, you can see it. It's distinct, but you have to focus to see it. So I think that actually helps from an eye appeal perspective. So yeah, it's a wonderful copy. Now, Adam, let's get your thoughts on the Russell, and then we're going to take some comments here from both Jeff Hart and Ryan Tedmus, who is an eye appeal expert.
Yeah, so Ryan's saying what he's saying here. If you can pull that up, Jeremy, that's exactly what I was going to go to. You know, there's cards that you just go, oh, the centering on that's generally good, and the centering on that sort of struggles. The Russell is one that the centering really often struggles. Both 57 and 61 in basketball really just have terrible centering all around. And so when you see one like this, if you are a centering snob, and I don't think either you or I are centering snobs, but there are a lot of them in the hobby. It doesn't get much better than this. Like that's about as good a centering as you're ever going to find on this card. And so I'm glad that Ryan brought that up. That was sort of what I was thinking about it too.
Yeah, and I'll just say Ryan, when I say he's an eye appeal expert, at one time he was the man at PWCC doing the eye appeal assessments. I don't know if he's still in that position with Fanatics Collect, but he definitely knows what he's talking about when he joins the chat and makes a comment. So definitely give him some credence for that. Just for a moment here, Vintage lets us know about 1,852 Topps mantles and 2,900 Mays in the PSA Pop report. So that's interesting to know. Hello to David from Signed and Slabbed on Instagram. Welcome to the chat and nice to see you as always, sir. Jeff Hart on the Russell says, great centering and outstanding registration. He goes on to say, I can see with the corner reason for the grade, but outside of that, just a beautiful example. And yeah, I think so. 100%. Sundine 54 here says that 55 Topps Jackie, and we're talking about this one right here, should be in the Louvre. Loves the copy, which I think is very, and Orlando from A Collector's Dream lets us know that there's actually 2 copies of this Jackie card, which I wasn't aware of. Maybe I've heard about it in the past, but not top of mind for sure. So, and Ryan lets us know he is still there doing the eye assessment. So it's nice to have Ryan in the chat when we can, because Ryan will probably know that I've disagreed with his eye appeal assessments in the past, and that's okay. We are not all going to see things the same way, but it's nice that he can opine on somewhat how he came up to that with that assessment. So thank you, Mr. Tedmus. Great to see you here in the chat. Good evening to Gary Keith, my local buddy. Good to see you, Gary. Thanks for being here. Full diamond and partial diamond. That must be on this diamond here. Is it a double print card to the 2 people who know it? Usually that's the case. It's a double print card if there's 2 different versions. Could be. Well, David does let us know that this is a full diamond, refers to the Dodgers logo in the top left. Thank you, David and Orlando, for jumping in on that. Okay, let's continue, Adam. 1958. Alifa Boulanger, Pelé, 1958, PSA 2, and this is at $5,500. It's a PSA 2. PSA 2 is a low grade on the scale, but from here, before I zoom in, this thing looks spectacular, and I believe it has sexy corners, everybody. Let's go take a look and see. Let's take a look and see. All right. Oh, it's got a crease right through it. And to me, I've started to, Adam, I want to get your thoughts on this. I'd love to get thoughts from you guys who love your vintage in the chat as well. We have wrinkles and we have creases. I've never heard anyone refer to a crack. And to me, a crack is when a crease actually splits and you can see the cardstock in between it. Now, has that vernacular ever been used before in our hobby? Like where a wrinkle to me is like a crease, but contained to one side of the card and very light. A crease, I believe you see on both sides of the card. A crack, you actually have like a crack in the surface. To me, this card does look to have a crack running through it, which to me is more offensive than a crease. But I'll wait for some thoughts on that. Outside from that, yeah, it's got sexy corners on top. It's got sexy corners, everybody. Nice and uniform, slight edge wear. A nice copy. I do want to see the back of this thing and see if that crack comes through the back as well. Let's go take a peek. Yeah, the back looks great. Sure, it's got the crack or the crease through it, but this is like, as far as a 2 goes, yeah, no eye appeal because it does have the crack running right through it, but I think it's a nice copy, Adam, overall. Do you have anything to say on it? Most recognizable vintage soccer card ever, without question, and has all the records. And the reason that I love it is that it's, you can see here with it in a 2 grade with that big crease running down down the center of the card. It is still just a very important, very difficult, very expensive card. And I love it when a card, regardless of condition, is like it's an event every time it comes to auction. It's because this one's the pop's so low on it. If I remember right, it's like in the low 100s, like 130. I might be way off on that. Like the overall subs to PSA? All of them. Like it's a very rare card. And so I didn't look at really all the details on the card, but just I would love, if there was a soccer card that I wanted to own,
that one would be really high on the list because it's kind of like the, it's like the Nagurski or it's like the Mikan. It's that really rare, super old, notable athlete.
It's a very small card, which I mean, I'm okay with. I like the Imperial Tobaccos and the T206 cards. So, but it's even smaller than those. So now next up, we have a 3. We have a PSA 3, and this copy, it's got sexy corners as well, but it does not have a crease or a crack running right through it. So when you compare these two, now I do think the 2 has better color, unless that's just an imaging issue, because they're also in different holders, completely different holders. This one, this is a very new PSA slab. This is an older PSA slab, as you can tell, more frosting, and the card is going to probably move around a little bit in that space, whereas this one is nicely framed by these ridges. I don't know that I've seen this slab much before, but the 2 seems to have a bolder color, but the 3, it's just void of that crack running right through it. And for that reason, I think the 3 is a superior card condition-wise. But I actually think that like it's so superior to the 2, yet it's only 1 grade point higher. So to me, you're getting better value in this 3 than you are out of the 2. Price-wise, right now, $14,000 on the 3 and $5,500 on the 2. So basically, close to 3x, 2.5x, or whatever that is. I like both for the price at this point, actually.
Yeah, you saying better value, as you said it, I sort of said, how do I feel about that? Because some people just aren't going to be able to, afford the 3. But this is an interesting situation where the half a grade, a full grade. The full grade is like light years away. Anybody, I could show these 2 things to anybody who I know, even if they're not a card person, and they would say, wow, that 3 is so nice compared to that 2. But it turns out that in the world of grading, sometimes that only represents itself with a single grade, which is kind of crazy, honestly, if you think about it like that.
Yeah, 100%. I see you're chatting with David in the chat. He's wanting to know if you like the Alifa Boulanger more than the Aquarella. While the Alifa does show his name on the front, I think that's very important, but I like the Aquarella as well. Jeff Derrico lets us know he has a couple of releases in 57 that are impossible to find, less than 10 known copies. And Tom Newman has an idea for a new t-shirt that says sexy corners on it. And it's a great idea, Tom Newman. All right. We have a 1958 Roger Maris rookie card in a PS9.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, I don't know the population on this, but let's take a look at it. The first thing I noticed is the color. I used to own this in a PSA 8, and I don't think it had as bold orange color as this one does. This has a strong color to it. I mean, let's just zoom out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's off center to the right, but again, that's probably still within close to PSA 10 centering anyway. Great edges, great corners. The only thing I don't like about it, and it's minor, is this fisheye near the Cleveland Indians logo. But it's like trade-offs again. Now this is a PSA 9. It looks like a pretty good copy to me. I love the color. That's, to me, the strongest aspect is the color, and the weakest is the fisheye in the logo circle right here, the red on the black. That should not be there, but it happens throughout the history of cards, and it's still a beautiful copy. And we'll finish off this row with a 61 Topps Mickey Mantle PSA 9 Fanatics Collect Eye Appeal, exceptional, top 15%. Let's take a look at this. Oh, that centering is perfect.
Does it seem like Fanatics Collect maybe has gone away a little bit from posting the populations? I don't know. It seems like I'm not seeing that on some of them where we maybe used to see it a little bit. This is a card that I'm going to go look up real quick to see if we can.
Please. Yeah, go for it. Well, wait a second. I feel like I just saw.
Did you see it?
No, it was another card, or it was a comment in the chat. But this is beautiful, freshly graded. I mean, this card, what's it sitting at? This has to 17,000. Yeah, I want to know the population too, Adam, because this is going to be like, this is a set registry card, And back to the Maris, because David just let us know the Maris is a pop 9, no 10s, Adam.
What? 9? Yeah. It's seriously?
Pop 36.
Pop 36. No 10s, sorry. Okay, Pop 36. I was like, that's crazy. That's got to be like a $500,000 card or something. The thing about Maris that people always forget is like, and those of us who were there for it will never forget it. But when Sosa and McGuire We're going for that record. Roger Maris was one of the most talked about, older players for a number of years. That record was the record that, is anybody ever going to get it? Is anybody going to ever touch it? And then after they hit that record, we haven't talked about him as much, but I think we probably should. I know Trout had the season and that, they talked about him a lot then too, but like that card to me should be more recognized in the hobby.
I agree. Roger Maris. I listen, I grew up going down to Fargo, North Dakota once every couple of years for the weekend to go shop in the US and get the Jolly Ranchers and the Skittles before those things came up to Canada, hit Target or Target as we called it because we didn't have it in Canada at that point. And Roger, I used to go to the card shop in Fargo and literally in the mid 80s. And Roger Maris was the hero there. And so I have a bit of a nostalgia for Maris. And this is great. Now, Ryan Tedmus tells us this is a freshly graded example, extremely tough card, so many bad nines, although he might be talking about, I'm not sure if he's talking about the mantle, or he's talking about the mantle, not the Maris. He's talking about the mantle for sure. So many bad PSA nines out there, and this one is a stunner. Yeah, I mean, for sure. And being that it's freshly graded, I mean, PSA does seem to be adhering to their standards much more diligently in the past, couple of years than they had in the 25 years leading up, I would say. I want to say...
I was just going to ask real quick. It'd be great to hear from Ryan if what you just said, if he would sort of corroborate if he notices that too, because I think I've noticed the same. It seems like if you look at not all of them, but some of the older copies, some of them probably wouldn't keep up to today's standards. Ryan, it'd be great since we know you look at more of these than anybody in the world. Have you noticed the same thing, or any context there would be really interesting?
Let's say hello to Yair Rosmarin. Welcome to the show. Mike Nunya, great to see you. Welcome to the show as well. Jeff Hart says 72 nines for the mantle and 2 10s. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a set registry card. I can see there being strong competition on that one tonight. Signed and Slab, David says most people forget Maris went on to the Cardinals and won a 3rd World Series there. 3 World Series. Can't shake a stick at that. And Jeff Kennedy, and I was going to say this before, but I was like, how is he not in the Hall of Fame? But I thought he wasn't. Jeff confirms, should be in the Hall of Fame. How is he not in the Hall of Fame? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Vintage was born and raised in Fargo. Treasure Island. Maybe I saw you there one time. Museum, Maris Museum in the mall. I remember that very clearly, Vintage. We used to go there back in the 80s, so... Very nice. Okay, Ryan pipes in and says, of course, grading standards have changed over time. So so correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. I don't believe the standards have changed. I believe the adherence to the standards have changed because I think that's the case, which is, I'm kind of saying the same thing, but I think there's some nuance there. Just my thoughts. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And our friends from the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast are here. Roger Maris is from Hibbing, Minnesota originally, as well as Kevin McHale and Bob Dylan. Wow. I love it. Oh, Ryan does agree with me that the adherence to the standards have changed, but the standards themselves haven't changed. And that's something I think it's a real important distinction.
Can you tell us what that means? Because I think I understand, but can you give us a little bit more?
Yeah. You have a rubric, you have a set of standards, and those standards determine how you grade a card. And then when you're actually practically grading cards in the work, in the field, you're actually grading cards. How much are you adhering to your standards, or are you loosening them up a little bit? Hey, and I'm not saying this is what they do, but maybe today we're going to let, instead of 60-40 centering, we're going to let, 58-42 slide, or whatever it might be. What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike Double V? Welcome to the show. And Zach Swisher wants to wish everyone good luck in the auction, in the lead. You're in the lead in yours. Congratulations. And a good time reminder, I do have the SCL affiliate code at the top of the YouTube chat. Please use it if you're bidding tonight. Earn a small commission for SCL, which is greatly, greatly appreciated for the support. Okay. Continuing on, Adam. Steve Garvey, 71 Topps rookie. It's funny because when I think of 71 Topps, I think of Thurman Munson, even though it's not his rookie card. And I think of the Nolan Ryan, which I just think is such a cool. So I like most Nolan Ryan cards, but look at this. This is a PSA 9, freshly graded. And yeah, this thing is a stunner. Centering is bang on. Well, it's a little bit to the right. Very strong centering. How easy is it to see edge issues on these cards? Very easy. I don't know what's going on right there, if that's on the card or if that's got something to do with a PSA slab, but that would definitely bring the grade down if that is like a scrape along the edge right there. Corners are great. Rest of the edges are great. Registration, bang on. Really nice Steve Garvey rookie right here at 2,400, top 15 for exceptional eye appeal. This little issue I pointed out, I mean, I don't think that can be. Oh, Ryan Tedmus tells I love having you here, Ryan. Not on the card, it's on the slab. Really important to know that, because if that was on the card, it certainly would not have received. And we know Ryan gave it the eye appeal designation, so it's on the slab. Ryan, really important for you to be here. Ryan, you should be here every show. Maybe we'll have to have you on the show as well one of these times. It's up to you. Just let me know. All right. We have the 1980 Topps PSA 9 Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie. It's at $17,000. It has eye appeal of top 15%. And I think, related, but not on this exact card, we recently saw a PSA 9 of this card with all three autographs on it, with all three autographs getting a grade of 10, sell for $170,000. $170,000 for a PSA 9 of this card with all three autographs, and the autograph grade is a 10. For 10% of that, you can buy the card without the autographs. So I'm not saying you can go get them autographed and it'll still be a 9. You got to be careful, but right. It's a great card. I mean, we all know about this card, Adam, and obviously you are an expert in this card, Adam. And is there anything you'd like to say about it?
Well, I was actually going to point out David. David has got to be like the guy who's owned probably the most of these cards. I was going to say the most of these autographed in the world, but I know somebody got like 100 of them signed or something like last year, or maybe more than 100. To me, it's the coolest project as far as like getting a vintage card signed, because it's three guys who are all getting older, who are all three incredibly important for their era. And it's, in my opinion, it's the second most iconic basketball card of all time. I've always felt that. I still feel that today. And it was an era that was really important to the game. And it's amazing that they came up with this idea, that they executed on the way that they did, and that all three of these guys ended up being, so important. You look at any greatest player list, Jeremy, like that ranks like the top 30 or 40 players of all time or whatever. Those three guys better all be in your top 30. And the guys on either side better be in your top 10. I mean, that's incredible that they all ended up on the same card during two of their rookie years.
Isn't Dr. J, like, I'm thinking he's got to be top 15, but maybe top 20? Like you said, top 30. Is he not a top 20 all-time player?
Some lists have him in the top 20, but every list better have him in the top 30.
Fair. No, I like the way you put that. Signed and slab, coming back to the Garvey, does say it's cheap. The last sale was over 8,700. A 2023 sale was 48. Someone bid and get Jeremy some commish. Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
Real quick before we leave it, part of the issue with Irving is that some people combine NBA and ABA stats. Irving started with Virginia Squires in the ABA, and so if you look at his rookie card, it's an ABA card, and that I think makes people question it. But if you add it all together, which I do, I think the ABA is just as important in terms of total stats. Then you kind of have to put Irving higher on that list. So good call there by you for sure.
All right, good. I appreciate it. And vintage does mention the 9 has been creeping up in price. Continue on. Joe Montana, 1981 Topps rookie, PSA 10, top 30% eye appeal. Let's see what we think. And mention that, I mean, this card was encroaching upon $100,000 during the peak. It's come down. We've seen them go, I believe it's somewhere between 40 and 60. This one is sitting at 36 out the door right now. And it looks really good to me, Adam. I want to see the slab. So a new lighthouse slab, not new lighthouse, but a lighthouse slab, which is still relatively new, a lower serial number, but maybe reslabbed. I'm not sure. In any event, the card itself looks very good. I see no reason to question the PSA 10 grade on this. It's a very, very nice copy, such that above average eye appeal. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
Let me say too real quick on that. Jeremy and I have had conversations about this specific card sort of off air. on cards where it's gotten a higher grade, and you're like, oh man, this just doesn't feel like it's a 10 anymore, and it puts us in an awkward position sometimes. But to hear Jeremy say now, like, oh, this is a really nice copy, I really like this one, that would, if I was a buyer on this card, that would honestly speak to me. That would make me go, oh, well, that's pretty cool. Because we've looked at, how many Montana 10s have we looked at over the last 4 years, Jeremy? Like more, probably 10 or 15 at least.
And just because a card was graded 15 plus years ago doesn't mean it was improperly graded or overgraded. It just doesn't mean that. The other thing that this is totally unrelated, but I like to point out is that, there's so much esteem given to the BGS 10 Black Label. But I have to say that, just logically speaking, there are probably dozens and dozens of what would be BGS 10 Black Label sitting in PSA 10 holders, maybe even some PSA 9 holders for that matter. You just don't know. Speaking of which, Turp Enforcer makes this comment. He says, if that's the case, then why do old PSA grades look worse than new grades like the PSA 10 older slab versus the newer? Well, I think that's what we're saying. I think we're aligned on that, Turp. I think we are aligned. Ryan does say he loves it. Magic beat out Irving and the Sixers in the finals that year. We are so fortunate to have this card in existence. Great history. I mean, that's just it. We have Bird and Magic's rookies on the same card. Now, I know it's like in hockey. Crosby and Ovechkin rookies came out in the same year. There is one card that has them both on it. It was a promotional card sent out for free. But imagine if like their cards were on the same Young Gun or something like that. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that happened.
So, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong on this, because I might be, but if you look at every year's championship from that first Magic championship from his rookie season, all the way to when the Pistons win the championship, every year, one of the three champions is on that card, because the Sixers won it in 83. And I think the Lakers and the Celtics won it every other year. Like, think about that. We don't really talked about that before, but that is incredible.
Yeah, that's it. It really is. It is. It's very cool. Great card. Daniel makes a comment with Kurt's card care. Old serial numbers aren't necessarily a bad thing. He says, I look at how the card looks, not the serial number, to be honest. And that is savvy. That is smart because the card is what you're buying. Well, I mean, it's what I think we should be buying, but not in every case, of course. Okay, let's continue on. Adam, we have a Mario Lemieux SGC 10 Gem Mint O-Pee-Chee rookie here with superior eye appeal. All right, Ryan, let's see what we think about that. Followed by BGS 9.5 and a PSA 9 Jordan 86 Fleer. This thing is gorgeous. One of my issues with the 85 O-Pee-Chee Mario Lemieux card is when I look at this card in many, many, many cases, it's like an optical illusion. It feels like the top edge kind of curves inwards a little bit. It might not be happening. It might be an optical illusion because the way that top edge kind of comes down and dips in and you're not getting a full border on the top or the right. But this card looks to be perfectly square. I believe it has absolutely perfect 50-50 centering. Might be like 49-51. It's an SGC 10 Gem Mint. This is an absolute blazer. This might be the nicest one I've seen. Honestly, this might be the nicest copy. Now let's zoom in on the Penguin and check out the registration. I can't zoom any more than that. It looks to be almost perfect. Maybe perfect. I can't tell if there's a little bit of yellow coming into the tip of the beak there, which is where you would look, but the glove looks perfect. The gloves look perfect. The skate blade looks perfect. This might be the nicest copy I've ever seen of this card, you guys. That's saying something. That is saying something right there. Okay, let's talk. Wait, David says, Jeremy, does it bother you at all that Mario is in an SGC slab? I mean, listen, it doesn't bother me or offend me because the card is beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of the black inlay in SGC slabs. I love the company. I think, I love. I have a lot of respect for the company. I have respect for Peter over there, but I just am not a big fan. The slabs don't fit in my boxes properly, the grading boxes and all that. So, but it doesn't bother me. I can't say it bothers me. Vintage says, do 85 O-Pee-Chee have rough cut very often? Sometimes Vintage they do, but not to the extent that the Gretzky does for sure. Turp Enforcer prefers SGC for 80s and older. I think a lot of people do as well. Okay. Daniel says, do you think it would cross over to a PSA 10? Well, Daniel, I just said out loud that I think it's the nicest copy I've ever seen. And, Ryan and Fanatics PWCCI appeal give it superior, which is top 5%. Unless there's something technical going wrong with it, that I can't see here, I don't know. Maybe there's something on the surface or something, but, obviously I'm not going to guarantee it, Daniel, but I think it's a beautiful copy. And if it didn't, and it was my copy, I don't know if I'd even care, because I would look at it just like I am with my PSA 1 1933 number 144 Babe Ruth. I don't care if the thing would grade higher or not. I just love looking at it. And I like this. Jeff says, when Jeremy zooms in and smiles, I want to bid. Hilarious. Thank you, Jeff. All right, Adam, let's talk about a couple of Michael Jordan 86 Fleer. I'm going to continue calling them rookie card for now. We've got the BGS 95. Now, this is a true gem, which is pretty cool. Let's just open up the PSA 9 so we can compare the two, put them beside each. Okay, so here's the BGS 95, straight 95s, centering top left to right. I can't see a difference. I think it's perfect. Centering top to bottom, it's slightly high, ever so slightly high. Edges, minor fray, shouldn't affect the grade. Beautiful. Corners are wonderful. I don't see any print defect. I can't see it. That might be there under like this glare down here, but really great copy here, Adam. And then the PSA 9. Wow, this has really good centering too. It is off to the left. It's off to the left a bit. Top to bottom, it's a little bit high. Corners and edges, though, bang on, perfect. I don't see any PD. And I do see some PD, actually. Print defect right there. A little fisheye under the G. Note, that would bother me. I'll be honest, that right there would bother me. A little bit of white over there, but not a bad copy. Still a 9. Definitely a 9 right there, Adam. What do you think? Is the BGS 95, Adam, worth double the PSA 9?
It's a good question. I don't know. I like that you noticed that little print, that little fisheye on the 9. I think that the 9.5 looks like a better card than the 9 does. And that doesn't always come across when we do those comparisons, but based on what we just did, I think you're right. The thing that I always tell people whenever we look at the BGS 9.5s on this card is that if you were to just look at true 9s and above, like all 9.5 subs and greater, the percentage of MJs that have been graded by Beckett that have received that is actually a little bit lower than PSA 10s, the rate of PSA 10s that have been graded by PSA. They're almost exactly the same. It's like 1.3 versus 1.31%, almost identical. So that's why, in a PSA holder, sometimes a card doesn't look as good, or sometimes it looks better or whatever, but across the board, it's almost the exact same percentage. Beckett's actually just a little bit lower. Again, just true 9.5s. That excludes ones with a 9 subgrade. But I think that's really kind of if you're looking for deals, if you're looking to get the card, not the grade, which is who I am, then I would personally be looking at Beckett 9.5s ahead of PSA 10s.
And especially with just the reputational hit that Beckett has taken, and the related possible discounts that are available out there, I think Beckett 9.5s, Beckett slabs, if they are appropriately graded, like the standards were adhered to, I think there's value in Beckett slabs right now. And
I don't know who said it earlier, but I look at the card, not at the serial number and not at the grade. Like, don't look at anything except for the card. Some people are out there right now making a living on being able to sort of understand what a card ought to grade. And then simple arbitrage, if you're really good at doing that. If you can tell what something's probably going to grade, it's simple arbitrage. So really smart.
Great comment here from Yair. He says, for vintage, in my opinion, SGC is more accurate on centering and PSA is more accurate on registration. My only kind of, follow up on that is that, I just think that PSA's centering standards are very loose, and I don't know what SGCs are, but if they are stronger than 60-40 on the front, if they happen to be, 55-45, then maybe that's the reason for what Yair has noticed. Otherwise, maybe they're just adhering to the standards more than PSA has been historically. And on the registration front, I don't really think I can comment on that. I'm just not sure, but I'm going to start to think about that more and see if I can agree with him or not. Turban Forester says, Jeremy, that's how I feel about my Ricky Henderson PSA 9. I just stare at it and smile and think about Ricky chasing Lou Brock's record. I love the Ricky Henderson rookie. It was one of the first, baseball rookie cards I bought, 1991 in Los Angeles, coming back from Australia. Great uncle takes me to the card shop and buys me the card. I was just I loved it. Yeah, great card. I probably had it as a kid too, but bought it again in 91. David says, also interesting, the BGS 9.5s with the single 10 sub go up quite a bit from the True Gem Pluses. Should sell for more. I mean, if you think about a Beckett slab, it's really a 40-point grading scale. So straight 9.5s is 38 out of 40, but True Gem Pluses, 3 9.5s and a 10, you're now at 38.5. And if you can get to 2 9.5s and 2 10s, which is, as close as you can get to a 10 without being there, now you have 39 out of 40. That's pretty darn good. And to get a 10 pristine, it has to be 39.5 out of 40 or above. That's the way I think about it when it comes to BGS slabs. Okay, Daniel says the 86 Fleer is so iconic. Love that card. And you agree with me on the centering from PSA. Thanks, Daniel. Okay, continuing on, guys. More cards to get through. We have 2 autographed, pretty iconic cards here. The second-year Fleer, Michael Jordan. It is graded or slabbed as authentic, but it has Beckett Authentication Services authentication on the autograph. The autograph does grade out of 10. And we also have a Kobe Bryant Topps Chrome rookie, BGS 8.5 on the card, 10 on the auto. It's at 17.5. The Jordan second-year Fleer is at $15,000. Let's just have a look at these, Adam, and get your thoughts on that. Now, this card is graded or slabbed as authentic. Yeah, it might have a couple of surface issues, slight corner. This is probably slab right here. Beckett slabs, I find, just scratch up really easily. Maybe some surface here. The autograph is absolutely beautiful. Look how thick that Sharpie is and consistent weighting throughout the autograph. I really like that one. And the Kobe, harder to see the auto, but what do you think of this, Adam? And the black Sharpie versus a blue on this, I think it actually stands out quite nicely. What are your thoughts?
Well, we saw one of these. It's probably been a year and a half ago, and it really popped during the auction, went up a ton. And so I was sort of watching this one today, wondering if this would do the same. There's definitely like a cult following right now for Kobe autographed rookie cards that have, been authenticated by Beckett and by PSA DNA. And it makes sense because he doesn't have a rookie autograph, right? People love autographs. They love rookies. They love rookie autographs. His rookie autographs are press pass and scoreboard. I shouldn't say he doesn't have any. He does. They're just not licensed, and people want him in that Laker uniform. I think this one shows up really, really well. What I'd be interested to know, and I haven't done the research on, is if you look at the other scans on this listing, there are like authentications that are related to Panini. And so it's interesting. It's like Panini's authenticating an autograph that on a Topps card. Well, apparently that's the case because that's what you'll see here. I love it. I really love it because, as much as I say like there's other Kobe rookies that I like more than the Chrome is like the Chrome's the most iconic one. It's the most recognizable. There aren't a lot of Kobe Chrome autographs out there. This one does look really cool. It's a really cool looking autograph. It kind of has everything going for it. And so I think that's kind of why it popped last time because there aren't very many of them. And it checks a lot of boxes, and a lot of people who love Kobe really, really love Kobe. So, it'll be interesting to see what it does tonight.
And just to Terp's question here, does Kobe have any greening? I'm going to go with no. I don't see any greening anywhere. None on the arms, none on the forearm. I don't see it on the calves. I don't even see it on the defender. I mean, is that a little bit on the back of the knee here? Maybe it's starting, but maybe up here. Maybe a little bit there on the defender, but like really absolutely minor, if at all. We also have the 96 Finest Gold Refractor. This, I think, is my favorite Kobe rookie, Adam. I just think it is a stunning looking card. Let's open it up. It's a BGS 9.5. And yeah, I mean, this card is sparkly, shiny, gorgeous, and beautiful. Silver and gold, great reflecting technology in the surface. It is a refractor. Wonderful card, Adam. Can you give us your thoughts on it? And I mean, I'm looking for greening. I don't, maybe some. It's hard for me to tell. What do you think?
So I got to research this card the other day for a different auction house. And the thing that I found as I researched, and I had forgotten this completely, is that back in '97 when these were first priced, this card was by far the most valuable Kobe Bryant card, way ahead of the Chrome Refractor. It was actually 3 times, almost 4 times as valuable as the Chrome Refractor, way more valuable than the EX Credentials and the Showcase Legacies. It's interesting to look back and to see that. That's not the case anymore. But what I found very interesting is that the combined pop report, if you look at gem rate, you'll find that this is still quite a bit rarer than the Chrome Refractor. Now, that's a little bit tough because I would argue that the Chrome Refractor is one of the most cracked and regraded cards in the history of the basketball card hobby. But aesthetically, it's amazing. I love that image. I love even knowing more that the reason probably that they chose that image is that Kobe has a broken arm. And so they're hiding his arm on the other side of him. I mean, it's just got a lot going for it. I love it. And I still would probably put it 4th in terms of the coolest Kobe rookies. But, you know, maybe the community will be swayed at some point. I'm not sure. Either way, it is a great card.
Very cool. And I just want to bring up the professor's comment here, the end part where he says, my submitter said SGC focuses more on centering than PSA. I would want to clarify, do they focus more or do they have different standards? Because we know the PSA is 60-40 on the front. If SGCs is stricter than 60-40, I wouldn't word it as they focus more on it. I would say that they weight it heavier, that sort of language. But that's just it's a minor sort of thing right there. Deep value investor Brent Wire in the house lets us know that the Shea logo man is going off. I'm sure we will get to that card very, very soon. All right, let's keep on rolling, Adam. We've got, well, here's the Topps Chrome Refractor Kobe. It does have greening. I can see it on the arms all the way from here, right there. And you can see right there on the arms compared to the non-refractor, also on his face, but still a great card. PSA 10 on this. And, you know, does that mean the greening does not get penalized by PSA, or is that something that might have happened after it was graded, or is it just not that important? I don't know the answer. Adam, do you have thoughts on that when it comes to this card in the PSA 10 holder?
We've called for it a long time, Jeremy. You and I have, I think, sort of led the charge on this a little bit. I don't want to give us too much credit, but the idea of having an eye assessment as of a current date, a level of greening, that sort of thing, boy, that would be a game changer. And at some point that'll come. It's just too good of an idea for it to not come. But to some people, that is the story at this point with the Chrome. To some people, it's not. Some people just don't care. They want that high grade. That's all that matters. But to some people, they don't look at the grade first anymore. They look to see whether he's green. And so, but to the question here, the card certainly turns green in the holder. Like, we've seen that a lot.
Yeah, very fair. All right, look at this monster. It's at $100,000 right now, which is actually $120,000 out the door. 97 Metal Universe champions. Is it champions or championship?
It's championship. Most people sort of shorten it to champ, though. And in fact, most people have sort of adopted just calling it the PMG champ.
PMG champ. Precious Metal Gems, PSA 7, Kobe Bryant. Amazing card. Much nicer than this image actually portrays it. If we go and look at the video, for anyone who hasn't seen one of these, let's bring up the video. And there you go. Can you guys see that? I know it's small and there's some light, but look at that thing. This thing is just a stunner of a card, serially numbered out of 50. One of the most important Kobe Bryant cards ever, and just a beauty. It's at $100,000, Adam. And then we have the PMG Barry Sanders, the PMG Red Barry Sanders PSA 9. It's at $32,000, pop one, none graded higher, and it's numbered 150 of 150, which I think is pretty cool. There's only 135 of them, though. The first 15 are green, so keep that in mind if you weren't aware. An amazing copy right here. Boy, oh boy, Adam, what a card. Unbelievable.
Do you still have your Jerry Rice?
Yep, I sure do.
You got to get that Barry Sanders to pair with Jerry Rice, Jeremy.
I mean, I was thinking about this, sub 20,000, not to say I think it's not worth 32, but
yeah,
I was,
you're
thinking
paying
about it.
You're paying for the condition on this one quite a bit for sure.
I'd be just as happy with a 5 or a 6.
Exactly. This isn't your copy at all, but like I get those people who want this one, that pop one, none graded higher on that card. Like that's going to speak to the market. There's no question.
Very, very enticing. Jay-Z here says there's so much value right now in BGS slabs. If you can accurately inspect in a hobby that's currently very flip and profit, it's shocking to me that more people aren't doing it. And maybe they are, you just don't know it. I mean, that's one thing. He goes on to say that he's been exclusively buying big cards in BGS for this reason. I think that that does make some sense for sure. David does not like the Kobe PMG. He just gives it the big yuck. Diamond likes the Mamba right there. David just very critical. Looks like he's fumbling. Incomplete pass. Vintage, the Barry PMG is his favorite card in the auction. Very cool. Deep tells us it's never sold in a 9. So this is the first time, highest grade as it says in the auction. That is correct as per the auction description. And Vintage says that Barry outsells Jerry by a little bit. More diehard Barry collectors, in my opinion. All right, let's keep on rolling.
Real quick, you didn't even let me talk about those.
Sorry, please go ahead.
You're okay if you don't mind. If it's okay.
No.
So just the Kobe's like maybe my favorite card of the night, and so I don't want to not talk about that one. So I'm glad that you showed off that image. I know David doesn't love the aesthetics of the card. I love the set and can talk about it all day and all night. But the thing that we didn't highlight here is it's number 1 of 50. And so that's, some people care. Most 90s collectors don't care about like where the serial number is. People don't care about like if it's a jersey number or if it's a first or if it's a last. That, at least that's what I've sort of noticed the hobby going towards over the course of the last couple of years. But as I looked at this card and was thinking about it today, the question that I asked myself was, which of the 90s Kobe's would I rather have than this card? And I'm not a 90s Kobe collector. Right. I have a couple of his rookies, right? I have his credentials and his chrome refractor in low grades, but I don't go after the numbered Kobe stuff outside of the green to 10 and the now another one of David's favorites in EX that's numbered to 8. This particular copy right here, like it might be next on the list. I can't think of another card where I'm like, yep, definitely give me that one. I mean, you can talk about like based on grade, like the black label chrome refractors, but just like card itself, like what do you want? I'd want the green. I'd want the now. I think I'd want the champ next. And the fact that it's 1 of 50, it's an elite Kobe parallel, which we don't see it very often, and that's why it's at 120. And who knows how high it goes. But I just wanted to say that because you don't see the very best cards of some of the most collected players from that era sell very often. So it's kind of cool to see it up tonight. Great color commentary on that one for sure. And I do like that it's 1 of 50 as well. I really do like that also. Adam, Terp, yes, I did see when I was having dinner tonight here in Philly with Alex Tressler, Army ATC on Instagram. We were talking about that, and yeah, what a big day Shohei had today. And I saw someone asked earlier, are his cards now exploding because of that? I mean, probably. It just happened, right? So I don't know what's going on even in this auction or other platforms tonight, but I have to think that they're probably doing just fine tonight. Probably not the best day to be buying Shohei's right now. All right. Continuing on, Derek Jeter, essential credentials out of 99 in a PSA 10 Pop 2, 1997 Skybox EX 2000. I mean, that's just a top-end Derek Jeter card. That might be, top-end Jeter. Hey, Adam? Yeah, I was just going to say, and I could have written it in the chat, sorry. I want to know from David whether he likes this one, because I know he hates the next year of credentials. Like, I don't know how anybody could not absolutely love this card. Like, that is gorgeous. And it's a pop 2 PSA 10. That is a huge card.
It's beautiful. And I mean, listen, I probably really do not like some cards that David likes and that you like, and you have me and you like it. You know, just because one guy doesn't like it and tells you about it really is meaningless in the whole scheme of things. Just like you tell me you don't like a card, I say I don't give a crap that you don't like it. Like, who cares? I'm happy you don't like it. That means that there's more for me, and it's probably going to be a little bit cheaper because
let me just be clear. Like, it's fun when you have somebody who you agree on most things, but then you have things that you passionately disagree on. And you and I both love credentials. They're like one of our favorite things.
So kind of like you and me, Adam.
Yes, exactly. And so yeah. I like it when people come with this is what I think. But no, you're exactly right, Jeremy. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It matters what you think.
But all that said, I welcome the comments in the chat. I welcome him, and he just answered. He loves the 96 credentials. So I mean that, good. Happy you do. Happy. Okay, moving on. Thunder and Lightning, Kobe Bryant. This card has recently really spoken to me as being beautiful, and maybe it's because the Scoring Kings that is somewhat similar, but from an earlier year, which is like not a grail, but like an iconic Jordan or insert from the 90s. They're similar, but I think that card is very dull. Here we go. I don't love that card. I don't have nostalgia for it. I think it's nostalgia based. Yes. I don't think that it's not a good looking card to me. This pops. Look at, and I mean, David's criticism on the PMG champ was that he looks like he's fumbling the ball, and it is an awkward picture of him. But this one, I think it's just wicked. I think, and they have the shine. Yeah, they have the shine, and the back is beautiful too.
It's one of the few times where Skybox made both the front and the back. Sorry, I just confused. I conflated two thoughts there. The first was that it's one of the only times that Skybox showed a full refractor up front, but it's amazing too because it's a double-sided refractor. Obviously, it's not called a refractor because that was proprietary to Topps. But yeah, like it's one of the better looking cards aesthetically. And the crazy thing about this, Jeremy, just to show what an amazing period the 90s was. This card's is this card a 97? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 97 is the year they did this Thunder and Lightning set. Scoring Kings, I believe, was 93. Right. In 93, that was the best tech, along with that and like Beam Teams. That was like the best tech that we had on cards. And 4 years later, we're getting two-sided refractors. And like they're night and day. Those 4 years, everything in the world changed. And so I'm with you. Like it's not as iconic as the Scoring Kings, but from an aesthetics perspective, it's incredible. And then you get down to the guys that really care about how high a grade something is. And look, there's 9 of these in the Gem 10. 9. Yeah. That's a huge card.
Quick hello to Filth Bomb Frankie on Instagram piping in. If anyone's watching on Instagram and you'd like to come over to YouTube, we welcome you over there. David doesn't like the Pepto credentials because they're pink. That's one of my favorite cards in the history of sports cards are those pink essential credentials. And that's a beautiful thing, right? We don't all like the same thing. Yair says, I think those Thunder and Lightning cards glow in the dark as well. Very good. You're confirming that they do. Adam, I see that coming in now. And Turpin Force says, my favorite Kobe card is the Electrifying. I love the Electrifyings as well, as does Adam, who's sitting right here with me. Okay, and then we have the Call to Arms, Donruss Crusade Red, Frank Thomas, PSA 9. This is a nice looking card. And I got to admit, I've never paid much attention to these Donruss Crusades, but this looks like a nice looking card. And we've got this image in the background. Is that just in the surface or is that a bit of slight embossing? I don't know the answer to that. Does anyone know if there's embossing on these Donruss Crusade Reds? I don't know the answer.
I will say I don't know how many Frank Thomas inserts we've seen in the Premier, and I don't know how many Call to Arms cards we've ever seen in the Premier. So I was kind of surprised to see that there, but as you can see, it's doing pretty well at over $5,000. And then you go, oh, it's a top 3. Oh, there's only 25 of these.
Only 25.
It's an ultra rare insert for that era. And what year is it? 98?
Yeah, that's 98. A rare card. $5,250 for the Frank Thomas. All right, we've got a Michael Jordan Take It To .net. Great card. PSA 10s at $10,000, numbered out of 1,000. And this was really a sign of the time sort of card when it came out, because this was like 98. Everyone was gearing up for the whole Y2K tech debacle when the world was going to shut down. It did not shut down. The clocks flipped over just okay. The banks didn't go out of business. but this card was like right in that tech boom time, really reminiscent of the time. A very cool card right there. And Adam, I believe I'm going to steal some of your thunder right now and say this is one of the only serially numbered inserts of Michael Jordan from the 90s. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's one of only 3 that has no parallels to it. There's only 3 Jordan 90s serial numbered cards that don't also have a parallel. It's this and 2 others.
So that's interesting. When Adam says that the card doesn't have a parallel, it means this is your only option. So, it's not like there's nowadays where, okay, you might not get the leopard skin, but you can get the tiger or the pink or the orange creamsicle refractor if you want. So, okay, we've got the 1998 Skybox Metal Fusion Titanium Iverson, numbered out of 40. These cards are, we know we love these cards on this show. Me and Adam both love them. And I know there's a whole like bunch of research Adam has done as to why is it called titanium when it's gold. We don't need to get into all that right now, but just know that this is out of 40. They are beautiful in hand. This is, it's like laser etched over here, holes in the card to give you the silhouette of Allen Iverson. And I love the serial number, which is actually like a die cut serial number as well. Put like holes in the card. This is a BGS 9. The slab looks to be a little bit, I don't know if there's, what's the surface grade? Surface is grading a 9. I'm seeing all sorts of, it looks like marks on the slab.
It's slab. For sure.
Yeah, it must just be marks on the slab if it grades out a 9. And then finally, Ultra Greats Masterpiece Jerry Rice 1 of 1 SGC 9 at 7,250. This is one of those, the only 1 of 1 masterpieces where it will say that on the back of the card. Pretty cool. Usually those are in purple. I believe this one will be in purple as well, because I noticed some purple on the front, and there it is, the only 1 of 1 masterpiece edition Jerry Rice. I mean, cool, but honestly, I don't like the front of this card. This design, Adam, does absolutely nothing for me. Maybe it's because they used about 40% of the card to say 98 greats and just have this little picture of him here. It looks like a cereal box card to me. I don't know. I don't like it at all. I don't like the card at all.
You probably know this. 98 greats is like a subset. It's part of the base Ultra set, and so only certain players. This is what cards used to do. They don't do it as much anymore, but you'd have like an all-star subset or a great subset, in this case, a 98 great subset. And so the fact that this is the 1 of 1 is the huge deal here, right? It's a 1 of 1 of Jerry Rice from the 90s. The question that you have when you look at a card like this that you always should have when you're looking at any of the Fleer 1 of 1s from the 90s is how many are there really? Right, we saw the Peyton Manning recently sell where there's 2 copies. We know there's 2 copies.
There's a Manning right there, 1 of 1.
Now this Manning though, to jump to this one. Actually, can we go back up real quick? We didn't get to hit.
Yeah, let's wrap it up quick. We got a lot of cards to get through still.
So this is something you got to know about the Jordan. Jordan doesn't have a base. Jordan doesn't have a base card in 98. They were limited in terms of, Fleer was limited in terms of what cards they could use Jordan for, because he wasn't going to be in the NBA anymore. And so the way they got around it is they made this one. They could only number it to 1,000. 1,000 was the most they could number it to. And so they changed how they were originally going to do the set, which was out of 500. They upped it to 1,000 so that they could maximize the number of total Jordans. And then the Iverson, the only thing I'll say about that one is it's so much nicer aesthetically when you can take that card and you can hold it up to the light. On the back, you can see the way the silhouette works. And on the front, you can too. You just have to hold it up to the light. When you just look at it in a flat image, it's not nearly as impressive. So the Manning, though, the Manning, the thing that I would point to here, this is where an old slab is super important because this card was graded in 2002, which is before the bankruptcy. This card, I know people love to crack and resubmit to other graders and whatever. I would strongly encourage whoever buys this one to never even consider breaking this one out of the slab because this one really tells a story. The fact that there's 2 1-of-1s for a lot of these cards is as a result of the bankruptcy, which happened in 2005 or after 2005. Anyway, 2000 later. I can't remember exactly what year, but it was way after this card was graded. So the fact that this was graded in 2002 lets you know that this is the first one. It's the one, and you'd rather have the one that came out of the pack than the one that came via the bankruptcy. And this is evidence of it because it's in that slab.
Very important information right there.
Oh, and sorry, real quick. I don't know that there's a second one in this case. On other ones I do. On this card, I don't know that. I've only heard of the one on here, but let's say a second one shows up. Well, that's fine. That one did not come out of the pack.
2 Michael Jordan autographs here. One comes with a jersey from 1998 and is numbered out of 23 and is at $85,000. It's a pack issue example, BGS 8.5. And then we have the incredible from UD Retro from 1999, also numbered out of 23. It's a PSA 9, and it is about a third of, well, less than a third of the price of the one that has the jersey as well. Adam, let's get your explanation on the, first of all, I mean, you know these cards very, very well. So please speak to them, but really compare, like, because I look at it, I think to myself, okay, I can get some jersey, but for, you know, to save myself $60,000, maybe I'll just buy the incredible if I want a rare Jordan auto out of 23. And while you're doing that, I'm going to open these up, open up the images so we can look at the autos and just see how they're holding up over the years. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the upper deck one, or the one with the jersey, it's actually his first Bulls jersey on a card, right? So he has one more autographed jersey before this. It's one of the most valuable and important cards ever. But that one has an all-star jersey. This one has a Bulls jersey, and that's why it has such a premium. 9 is kind of cool because 9 is the number that he wore in the Olympics. That's kind of a neat thing. A little bit of a kind of sort of jersey number match there. There are 6 different variations. And our friend Yair and I recently were talking about this, trying to differentiate which comes from which product and which came first. And there's so much history there that you can dive into. But as far as autographed jersey Jordans go, this comes second to me, right after the 97. The other card that we're looking at, to me, is like, it's one of the cooler 90s Jordans because the brand behind it. You notice here on the flip, Jeremy, it says level 2.
Yeah.
Jordan doesn't have a level 1. I believe it's just Jordan and Irving in this set that don't have a level 1 and then do have a level 2. So if you want a Jordan autograph, this is your choice. The thing that stands out here to me that's the only negative is and I think it's probably across all of the Jordan autographs, but for this card. But the fact that the autograph is a lighter ink than the serial number or the handwritten number sort of stands out to me. With that said, Jeremy, there's not very many 90s Jordan autographs that you want, I think, more than this one. It's just an iconic, great set. It's a great image of Jordan. I love the gold. I love everything about it. And for 1/3 the price of the jersey auto, like, I don't think it'll stay that way. I think we'll see. But I love that card.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's keep on rolling. We've got 3 Brady's here in the row. The 2000 Bowman Chrome Refractor, PSA 9 at $30,000. The Leaf Certified Mirror Red, BGS 9.5 at $92.50. And the SP Authentic out of 1,250 copies at PSA 10 at $38,000. Now, it'd be interesting to know what the print run is on the Bowman Chrome. And growing up in the 2000s, Adam, the SP Authentic was the Brady rookie that I always coveted. Maybe it's because the SP Authentic has such esteem in the hockey world, and I love my hockey cards. But I have since switched over to the Bowman Chrome, and then you add the refractor version. To me, I don't care that this is a 10 and this is a 9. I mean, I would take this card all day long over this one. I think that this is just a much more beautiful card in his playing gear, not in the practice jersey. I just love the looks of it. It's become a card that, like, you just know when it is. Like, I don't know, man. I love it. What do you think?
I love it too. And what you just described is exactly my experience. In 2000, when SP Authentic came out, it was during this run of a few years where we started seeing serial numbered rookies. And they were the king of everything, right? Like serial number cards in the base set. It was you'd get 1 or 2 rookies per pack per box in every sport. And it was like, oh, I got a rookie. This is such a big deal. It's numbered to 1250. but aesthetically, the chrome is just so much nicer. And if you go look at the odds on pulling a chrome rookie refractor that year, it's an impossible card. It's also a far rarer card. I'm with you. Give me the 9 on that card personally all day long.
Whoa! I just saw this pop up. Not a sports card, but this illustrator just hit $250,000 PSA 8.5.
That's the card of the night for sure.
That's very impressive. I shouldn't say. I don't know if it's impressive, but that's just a lot of money any which way you look at it. Also, which I didn't mention last time, this Leaf certified mirror is an autographed Brady rookie BGS 9.5 with the 10 auto BAS authentication. Considering that this one is autographed and these two aren't, and especially let's compare these two because the Bowman Chrome is the Patriots game jersey. These two have the red jersey on. This one's autographed. This one isn't. The autograph is worth $30,000 less. Is there how many? I don't know how many of these were made, but that just seems interesting to me.
I know there's a gold that's really low. It
might be Leaf versus Upper Deck too. That might be another piece of the puzzle there.
But aesthetics. So my first question is, what is the Reds print run?
Right.
On the Leaf. I really care about that. And somebody in the chat might know that off the top of their heads. That would be good because I know
David's saying it's an aftermarket card there. So.
It is. Yeah,
because the BAS. I should have known that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the autograph is certainly aftermarket.
Look, Deep saying the mirror gold is out of 35, but what's the red out of? We don't know. So
I'll bet it's 60 or 70 or whatever. But yeah, it for sure. I mean, you can tell when you look at that autograph. That card was not designed to have that autograph on there. But my question for you would be, even knowing that, if you were buying these three, and we don't need to, we don't need to talk negatively about any of these, but if you were to buy them and price wasn't an issue, what's your favorite? What's your second favorite? What's your third?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to go with Bowman Chrome Refractor, followed by SPA, followed by the Leaf Certified. Now, I've always loved the SPA brand, and I love the clean white look of it. If this Leaf card had him, with this image, I would take the Leaf card over the SPA. But to me, it's no doubt the Topps Chrome. And look at we have a couple other people in the chat. Turpin Force says the Bowman Chrome has way more eye appeal. Diamond also saying the refractor over the SPA. Personally, I think that makes a lot of sense. Michael Hathaway does let us know that Illustrator is the absolute grail of Pokemon promos. Last 8 did 300K. Well, that one that I just opened up here, this 8.5 is at 300K right now. So there's probably a couple more bids to come in to beat it, I would think. Okay, let's keep rolling, Adam. We were only halfway through. We got lots to get through still. We've got a Topps Chrome Black Refractor Michael Jordan from 2002. It's out of 99. It's a PSA 10. It's a Wizards card. It's very cool. We also have a 203 Topps Chrome Refractor Dwayne Wade, numbered out of 50, PSA 10, Pop 8. Probably the biggest Wade card out there after his exquisite RPA, I would have to think, as far as rookies go. And then finally in this row, the Hot Hands LeBron James, BGS 9.5, second-year card, BGS 9.5, as I said. I think Hot Hands are very, very cool. Let's open this one up and just take a bit of a look at it. Yeah, I mean, these things are awesome with the intricate die cut right there. Adam, speak to these three, and let's go to the next row.
So this is the last year of Michael Jordan. It is an active player. It's his final refractor. It's the rarest version in Chrome that year. There's also a white. It's to 199. There's a regular version that's unnumbered. And so this is the second rarest Chrome refractor of Michael Jordan in existence. We saw last Sunday the gold, which is also a Wizards card from 2002 Finest, numbered to 25. That's his rarest refractor in existence. Sell for the most that a Wizards Jordan era refractor ever has. Sold for over $30,000. Some of these rarer Jordan refractors from the Wizards era have really popped. And the fact that this is a PSA 10, it's a Pop 8, it's not shocking to see where it's at. You said that you'd rather have, or you said that this Wade might be second to the Exquisite. I personally would take this over an Exquisite. If it was like the highest grade Exquisite and it was an amazing patch auto combination, maybe I would think twice about it. But I love the Wade in a PSA 10 pop 8. It's huge. And as far as the LeBron goes, I've said this before, continue to believe it. I think that's his most recognizable non-rookie insert card. Not talking parallels, talking inserts. I think that's his best, that's his coolest insert card that's not from his rookie year. It's not like it's the rarest card in the world, but it's not very common either. And so you don't see him pop up very often. And aesthetically, it's fantastic.
All right, let's keep on rolling. We've got the Lionel Messi Mega Cracks from 2004 BGS 9.5, and this is a True Gem Plus. It does have 10 for centering. Yes, $32,000 on 37 bids. An exquisite Aaron Rodgers rookie patch auto from 2005, numbered at 199 PSA 10. That's a cool looking card, actually. Let's just take a quick little, well, look, we've got a jersey piece, we have a patch piece, we have the autograph right there. It's a nice looking exquisite PSA 10 as mentioned. And then a 2007 Fleer Hot Prospects dual auto, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, BGS 9 on the autos. Gotta see why. Oh, because the MJ auto comes off the sticker at the bottom. I guess that's what's going on right there a little bit. Wouldn't bother me too much at all, though. Really nice looking card right there. Adam, I'm going to divert to you on the because it says 1 of 1. Is this card a 1 of 1?
Sorry, I did blue. I hadn't noticed this one going into the auction. Definitely look at the back of it is what I would do.
Yeah, so let's go have a look at the back and see if that clarifies for, yes, it's a 1 of 1 stamp on the back. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool right there. What are your thoughts?
The Hot Prospects autographs, the sort of Fleer era autographs of Jordan, which are from 2005 to when they lost their license, when Upper Deck lost their license, they're just not as well known as like the Upper Deck cards, which is funny because they're actually Upper Deck cards, right? Upper Deck owned Fleer at that point, but like this one that we're looking at here in a 1 of 1, like I haven't thought about it, I haven't considered it, I haven't noticed it before, but you wonder as time goes by if some of those things will receive the hobby will be educated on them, and if they'll be viewed in a different way. Because Jeremy, what if that card was Ultimate Collection? What if it was exquisite? To have a 1 of 1 of those guys, whether on sticker or not, would be a really big deal. But here you and I are both like, how, why is this a 1 of 1? How do we know? And it's because we're not educated on it. We don't know it as well. Maybe we won't ever be. Maybe it's because Hot Prospects is just not as cool of a brand or whatever. But as people obsess over these types of players, I think, maybe the years will go by and we'll be educated on them and we'll view it in a different way. Who knows? Yeah.
Okay. We have the Premier Penmanship Jordan auto, numbered 1 of 1 as well. PSA 7's at $27,250 on 57 bids so far. I got to open this one up and take a peek at it, Adam. This is on card. See, this is beautiful. Like I like this a lot more than than the dual Hot Pro. And I think, you said maybe Hot Prospects isn't as cool of a brand. I think that's got a lot to do with it. It really isn't, in my opinion. It isn't as cool of a brand. Now, Upper Deck Premier was the elite set in its day, maybe not in 2007 anymore, but when Premier first came out, previous to both Ultimate Collection and Exquisite, it was the number 1 set, at least as I remember. Am I missing something there, Adam?
So you say it again.
That Premier in its inaugural set was the top end set.
Well, it came out after year. It came out after Exquisite, and so Exquisite still would have been the number.
But
1.
Because I'm just thinking in hockey we had Premier in 2001. Did we not have Premier that early in basketball?
No.
Okay. That's
I will say I agree with you completely on comparing this to the duel that we just looked at. I would take this all day long by quite a margin. I love this card. Aesthetically, that card is
aesthetically. Look at the image of M. It's a wonderful picture of MJ too.
It's on card. The 1 of 1 is bright and right on the front. I mean, that card is gorgeous. That is a beautiful, beautiful Jordan autograph.
It's stunning. We have the 2008 PMG Red Kobe Bryant out of 50, PSA 10, Pop 3 at 10,000. And we have the Steph Curry National Treasures RPA. This is a BGS 9.5. It's the true RPA at a 99. It's at 120,000. It's a true gem plus. We do have 10 on, is that Surface, I believe? let's take a quick look and see because if it is surface. And to me, when you can get a 10 surface, that's really cool to me because surfaces are very, these cards were stacked in a box, shipped to Steph, sign them, put them back in the box, like put them on the table. He might slide them around. The fact that autograph cards can come back as 10 surfaces, if they are in fact gem surfaces, is very impressive. Cool patch too, several breaks, nice 3 color, and the auto is basically perfect. Let's just zoom in on it to make sure there's no, that autograph is nice and bold. Just wonderful, Adam. Any comments there before we continue?
No, the Kobe in the middle, I would just say real quick, PSA 10, Pop 3. That's a set that is really interesting to see how it does over time with collectors, because it was a PSA 10 when it was graded, but it's probably not anymore. The way that the surface changes on those cards, it makes you wonder. But having said that, the most popular set from the whole 90s, in terms of value at least, is the red and greens. And those cards don't look great as far as condition either. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how the hobby reacts to that set over the years.
All right. Well, Topps Chrome Refractor, Steph Curry at a 500, BGS 10 Pristine, Pop 3, $75,000. That is a very important card. National Treasures Gold, Anthony Davis, rookie patch auto at a 5. Pop 3, none higher, BGS 9.5, $8,500. And the Aaron Judge Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor out of 50, BGS 9.5 is at $15,000. A nice row of cards right here, Adam. I have nothing else on them. Can we move on to the next row?
Can I say just one quick thing about the Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
So this is actually one of my favorite cards of the night.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of people will just see the player and they'll go, well, Anthony Davis isn't highly collected, I'm going to pass on it. But I would argue that this is probably the 3rd best Anthony Davis card in existence after his National Treasures Logo Man auto and his Immaculate. This year, for 2012 National Treasures, the regular rookie card, the regular RPA for Davis is numbered out of 199, and it's horizontal. And then the parallel is numbered, is like the jersey is sort of cut out like to look like his jersey number 23, but it's horizontal as well. So this year, and the beginning, close to the beginning for National Treasures, this was the dual rookie year. You remember that, Jeremy? Like the 2012 and the 2011 class are both in the set. So this year, the only vertical RPA for NT, the only one, is the out of 5 variation. And you never see the card sell because there's a couple guys who put together the set. So for each player, there's maybe at the most 2 to 3 that are out there that are sort of movable in the market. Davis is the number 1 pick. The rookie, I was going to say the rookie of the year. He wasn't the rookie of the year. That was Dame. He's a Hall of Famer, an NBA 75 player, and he's sort of lost his luster in the hobby over the last few years because he's playing second fiddle on the team that he's on. But he's going to be a guy that we remember. And this is his 3rd best card, I think, in existence. And the only thing that would compare, or that would sort of compete with that, is a 2012 gold at a Prism, or maybe like the 1 of 1 select. Maybe would be in that same conversation. But as far as RPAs go, it's this and then the Logo Man. And so, Anthony Davis doesn't get a lot of love. He's never in the Premier, but this card is definitely Premier worthy, and I like it. It's one of my favorite cards of the night.
And it's only $8,500, which relative to the rest of this auction is pretty cheap. Okay, Bowman Chrome Orange Refractor, Aaron Judge out of 25, BGS 9.5 with a 10 auto is at $27,000. Beautiful card. That auto looks perfect to me, but let's confirm. Yeah, absolutely stunning. I love autos on Bowman Chromes. We have the 2013 Fleer Retro Marvel PMG Blue set. Each card is out of 50. There are 42 cards in the set. It's at $23,500. And we have the 2013 Panini Kaboom Kobe Bryant PSA 10 at $16,000. These are very superhero-like looking cards. That is an artist's rendition of Kobe. That's one thing that I've always kind of wondered as far as the hobby goes. I'm not a huge fan of cards that are drawings of the player. Well, I shouldn't, sometimes I am, but maybe not in at the tens of thousands of dollar level personally. What do you think of that, Adam? Where do you sit on that?
I don't own any, but it's clear that Kaboom has become really like one of the inserts of the era, maybe the insert
sure.
of the era. And
Absolutely.
so I know what your question was. I don't think about. I do think it's cool looking. I like that it's very different. And then the thing that appeals most to me is it's the first year of a long. You love it when something has been around for a long time, and you can go back and get the first year and the highest grade. And so that's what's happening here. And to make it more cool for Kobe, he's only got 3 years of active playing days when Kaboom was produced, 2013.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, I don't like dislike them, but I think I prefer an actual image of a player on a card, but still pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Big Connor McDavid here, rookie year exquisite tribute. So this is from 2015, but it is a tribute to the 2003 design, the LeBron rookie year. 5 copies produced. It's a BGS 9. It's a pop 3, which is really interesting that it's a print run of 5, but a pop 3. I would assume that someone tried to get a bump on this and couldn't, because maybe you're trying to get a bump on the edges or something. Because I'm somewhat skeptical that 60% of the cards, 3 out of 5 of them, ended up in Beckett slabs. Maybe they did. It's quite plausible that they did. So in any event, doesn't really matter. It's a great looking card, a nice 3-color swatch, and I do absolutely love the card. I really love this card and would love to own it. Would go nice with my Gretzky from the 09 tribute set from that also features a nice 3-color Oilers patch. We have the dual auto from 2015 Immaculate Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. This is it's slabbed authentic. The autograph's grade out of 10. I love Immaculate, Adam. This is a beautiful card. Look at those autographs. They are both just stunningly perfect. The card is gorgeous. 25 copies. What's it sitting at right now? $17,500. Such a beautiful, with that acetate finish. So pretty. And we have a 2017 Contenders Playoff Patrick Mahomes rookie auto out of 15. My only issue with this card, Adam, is that the autograph is black. Now, I don't hate it by any means. I just think blue would have gone nicer with the aesthetic of the card. Minor quibble right there. It's a BGS 9.5, auto grades of 10, 15 copies, playoff ticket, rookie Mahomes. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that card. It's at $34,000, pop 1, none graded higher. Any comments on these, Adam?
I point out David's comment, which is what I was going to say too. There's a lot of people who don't believe that Shaq signed this specific style of autograph. Whether he did or he didn't is not something that I know. What I do know is the PSA has authenticated it, and that Panini has, and that there are people in the community who do not believe that it's real. So with that out of the way, I would also say the same as you. It's absolutely beautiful. And Shaq and Kobe don't have other dual autographs, right? And so,
yeah. And I mean, listen, I would defer to the experts on whether or not he signed it. I don't know, unless but listen, things get through the card companies. Things get through the grading companies. They are not infallible, and it's quite plausible that Shaq didn't sign this card. But
and so the if he did, if we were to come out and find out at some point that there was some way to know for sure that he did, this card would be worth 10 times what it's worth.
Really?
So,
okay, well,
yeah, it would be so huge because people love this combination. It's that it's that the experts don't believe, or it's that the people in the community don't believe that it's real, that keeps it at this price right here. Otherwise, this would be. But again, I'm not opining. I don't know. That's why it sells for what it sells for, is that people don't believe that's a real shot.
If he didn't, it's very disappointing for me. And not that I own the card, a copy of it would buy this one tonight, but I think it's a beautiful card. The ink looks nice. It's bold and blue.
Gorgeous.
So yeah. Okay. Well, that's an unfortunate stigma attached to that card, even if it is absolutely true. Okay. Continuing on, this is a nice looking card right here. That patch looks beautiful. Let's zoom in on this 2017 Panini Impeccable Elegance Platinum Kobe Patch Auto 1 of 1 PSA 8. Yeah, this thing is cool. There's a bit much action going on behind him with that black ink splat for me, but I think I could get past it because I love the patch. The auto is pretty nice. It seems to have some ink bleed. Maybe it's the surface of this card not completely flat. Is it like a canvas type of? Yeah, that makes sense. 1 of 1, but that patch is wonderful. Grades out an 8. Really cool looking card. This ink blotch behind does throw me off a little bit. I would say just delete that from the design, and this card would be more enticing for me. But still really cool. Adam, your thoughts?
This is one of the cards of the night for me. It's one of the last cards that he signed before he passed away. I love this card in hand. Can you do me a favor and can we look at the video of it real quick?
Sure. Let me see how many more cards we have to get through here.
Sorry to be annoying. I think this is one of them that just sort of comes alive in hand. I've owned a few of the impeccable autographs for the holo, and it's a stunner in hand. So I think the video might do us some favors here. Let it go back the other direction. Maybe they won't pull it back the other direction. Darn it. So we saw just a little bit of that holo sort of glow at the beginning there. I love that. Yeah, there you go. Oh, there it goes. I do love that. I love the patch. I love that it's a 1 of 1. We saw, if anyone wants to go do some fun research real quick, we saw 1 out of 3 sell for a really big number out of impeccable. And this card's currently nowhere near it. I also think this one might have been flashed, so I don't think it's been in the whole 2 weeks. If I wasn't doing the show with you right now, I would be researching to see what I thought this card should be worth.
All right. So let's move on. David said, this is interesting. Adam, how would you feel if we wiped the fake Shaq auto off and got him to re-sign it? I got to answer first, Adam, and say, do it. Like, to me, that would fix the card if that's the problem. I personally would not have a problem with it. What do you think?
I hate this question because
some people I think some people want the card the way it came out of the pack, whether or not it was Shaq that signed it, or his mother, or his sister, or his wife, or his son, or anybody.
This might be the only instance in the whole world where I would say go alter that card.
Yeah. Okay. Blake's right. We need to DM Shaq and ask him himself. All right, we'll get right on that. Blake, I actually did DM Shaq the other day, but of course I'm left on unread. Okay, we've got the 2018 Bowman Chrome Superfractor Tatis Jr. 1 of 1 at 3,100, and we've got the Lamar Jackson rookie 1 of 1 Donruss Optic Gold Vinyl PSA 10 at 16.5. We're going to speed up now, Adam. Okay, we've got a Josh Allen National Treasures Gold RPA out of 10 PSA 10, really cool card at $48,000, pop 2. And you can also pick up the Luka tonight, Panini Flawless, PSA 9 on the card, 10 on the auto, numbered out of 25. This is a beautiful Luka card to me. I love the 3-color patch. I love the full body shot. The auto is beautiful. 17 copies, silver foil. This is a great looking card. I don't mind the horizontal thing. Like, I think this is just gorgeous. The only issue I have is that, to me, the card is in the wrong way. It should have been flipped over, but I know they go by the back. So, but I just, for whatever reason, I like the right edges of my cards to be up against the flip in a slab. But that's just me. And then we got the Kylian Mbappe 2018 Prism World Cup Gold Power out of 5 BGS 9.5 at $80,000, Adam. That's big. That seems, I don't know if it's big for that card, but 80 grand. I was, especially because it's out of 5. This was out of 1. I would understand more, but I'm not saying it's the price isn't reasonable compared to what we've seen, but I'm a little surprised by that, just in my uninformed mindset. Any thoughts on these 3, Adam?
We've seen some golds, not the gold power, but some golds sell for way more. I continue to not be an expert on the more modern soccer cards or soccer market, but it seems like Mbappe and Haaland are the only ones that people really talk about, and this is his first big card, and there's only 5 of them, so I don't get a chance at those very often.
And Yair points out that the Luka is game used as well, which to me is a big deal. Is his National Treasures RPA game used, Adam?
No.
So yet it'll outsell this card by what, 4 or 5 to 1, maybe more?
By
maybe
at least
10 to 1?
I think at least 3. The last one sold for almost 50. So
yeah.
We've talked about this. I would rather have this card.
So would I, all day long. Okay, we have a couple of Shoheis here. I wonder if they're doing more tonight than they would have last night. Good for the sellers to be there. The 2018 Topps Transcendent Platinum from Japan, PSA 10. Autograph grades a 10. It's a 1 of 1. It's a 27,750. We'll take a look just to see what the card itself looks like. Transcendent's a nice looking product with those metal frames around them. That's a pretty cool looking card right there. We've got the Kanji Auto at 77.5 from Exquisite, PSA 8 on the card, 10 on the auto. We saw one go nuts last month. And here is the Bowman Chrome Superfractor Gunnar Henderson 101, PSA 10, $16,250. So really some good stuff right there. I'm going to keep going at them. Jump in if you need to. Here's the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander logo man that Deep was talking about earlier. It's a PSA 9 on the auto, authentic on the card. These autograph logo man, they're pretty nice. You know, I like colorful patches, but in the NBA, it's harder to get real colorful patches than it is in hockey, at least. The logo man is a wonderful card. Flawless. Is this game used, Adam?
Yes.
More benefits of the card right there as well. We're at 55. Oh, it says it right there in the subtitle. My bad. $55,000 on 52 bids. We're going to jump over to the Joe Burrow Flawless Dual Silver Rookie Patch Auto, numbered out of 20, PSA 10 on both the card and the auto. Clean looking card, nice patches, perfect auto, I believe. Yeah, basically perfect. A couple of gaps, but minor gaps. 20 copies only. I think it's just a cool full body shot, even though it's little. Lots of room for the auto. Great looking card, in my opinion. And finally in this row, 2019 The Cup Austin Matthews Shield Patch Auto 1 of 1. Now, this is a 4th year card, which is fine. It should be game used. I believe it's a game used patch. I'll take a quick look. 67.50. And I mean, Austin Matthews is, he's got to be a top 5 most highly collected hockey player in the last few years. Maybe top 6 or 7 now. Used an official NHL game. And the fact that it's sitting at under $7,000 here pre-buyer's premium just goes to show that hockey can be acquired much cheaper than basketball, especially basketball and football too. Okay, look at this. A beautiful Jordan Love Immaculate Collection Shield Patch Auto 1 of 1 at 14K. Joe Burrow NT Hollow Silver 25 at 25. NBA Authenticated 9,500, and it is in the Panini Uncirculated Slab. And a Justin Herbert NT Midnight RPA out of 20 is at $6,750. Going to keep on rolling at them, past some of these quarterbacks. We're almost getting to the bottom, guys. Jordan Love, rookie patch auto, 1 of 3. It's a tag piece. Now, these are, I like this is a busy card, Adam. Lots of detail, lots of different, the stripes across the top, the stripes around the patch window, the stars here, the stripes on the bottom. It's a very busy card, but I really like the looks of these. I really do. I love his autograph, J Hart, J Love. You got the full NHL shield. You got the size of his jersey. You got the Nike swoosh. This is a cool looking card right here. 19,500. Population 1 of 0. That has to be a typo, right? I mean, it can't be 1 of 0. So I really like this one. We'll come back to the middle card so you can speak to it, Adam. The Topps Dynasty UEFA, Lionel Messi. This is a really nice card as well. Let's take a quick peek at it. There it is, 2 of 5. The autograph it's pretty nice, but it's hard to see blue on blue over here. And I'm noticing with Messi autos that long stroke at the end there, it really fades. He just lifts up on the pressure. If I was sitting with him when he was signing autographs, I would say, Lionel, press hard all the way to the end. We want that autograph consistent. Come on, Lionel, let's do it. Anyway, that's what I would say to him in that voice as well. And then finally in the middle, 2022 Flawless Triple Logo Man, Jokic, Murray, and Porter Jr. Adam, I'll let you, if you don't mind, please speak to this, and feel free to speak to the others as well.
The year that this came out, the Nuggets won the championship. So they were the NBA champions in 2023, and this is a 2022-23 product. Those are the three best known guys and probably the three most important guys on the team, with Aaron Gordon probably being fourth. And because they lost in the second round last year, maybe it isn't sitting as high as you would think. But I would think if I was a Nuggets fan, like if I'm a Jazz fan, right? If the Jazz won the championship and there was a card like this that existed, I don't know that you get too much better than that. Like it's a really small set. There's not very many, I think it's like 6 to 8 cards. I think it's 6 cards in the whole triple logo men set. In this case, you're getting all three of those main guys, and those guys don't have a lot of big cards, right? So
you're a fan. Sounds like you're a fan.
I am a fan. I just sort of am like, you remember when we had all this hullabaloo about the triple logo man LeBron card? Like LeBron, I mean, it's cool, and LeBron's like one of the most collected people in the world, and like one of the best basketball players of all time. I've been accused of being a LeBron hater. I actually love LeBron. He's one of the best guys to watch the NBA. I love watching him. But like this card tells a story, it's from the year they won the title, and it came out, around that same time. It came out like around the same time that they won the championship. So for me, I just like, what more could you want if you're a fan of that team? But it's still a lot of money, right? Like it's not lost on me. It's still a lot. When you compare it to what other things sell for, it's sort of baffling to me that it's not more.
Sorry for scrolling up. I'm just looking at Instagram. Cage makes a comment. He says the NT is a jersey, number 88 jersey. Luka never wore number 88. Go back to that card for a moment. Is that 88 or is that 77? Is that the same Luka card he's talking about? I'm not sure.
What question? Who asked a question?
You won't see it. It's on Instagram. You won't be able to see it, unfortunately.
Can you ask it one more time?
Well, he would have heard me. If he's still there, he should have heard me. So maybe he will.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, I want to go back to the love, because I'm just curious. I want to get your thoughts on Vintage. Makes the comment here. He says, "Oh, sorry, that's it here." Vintage makes this comment: "The more I look at Jordan Love's autograph, the less I like them. Not sure if it will hold up over time. Sort of cheesy." I can see the cheesy comment, Jay with a heart instead of spelling out his whole name. And to be honest, I might prefer that he spelled out his whole name. What I like about it is that he does convert his last name to the heart, which you can only do if your last name is Love or your last name is Hart with an E, not H-A-R-T. Just that would be my little bone to pick. But what do you think of it, Adam? I'm just curious, because I'm now that Vintage makes the comment, I'm kind of like, yeah, I kind of see it. But as for holding up over time, it's what he signed. It's how he signed it in the day. Maybe he will change it later. What do you think?
I don't have any thoughts about who Jordan Love is, but I do love his autograph.
Okay, very good.
I do, because look at 90% of modern athletes. Their autographs are awful. They're just terrible. What autographs can you read? There's very few where you look at it and you go, that's a cool autograph. This one's recognizable. I could see it and go, oh, I know who that is. And for that purpose alone, like I actually really like it.
I do really like the look of the card. Yair is still reeling from missing out on the LeBron, Kyrie, Love triple logo man that sold in the Premier Auction over the summer. Sorry for your loss, Yair, but one thing I always say is there's always more cards out there to buy. Tom Newman says to us that 2017 Kobe Impeccable uses an old photo of Kobe. Are you a fan of using old photos on new cards? I'm okay with it personally. I mean, I'm okay with it in some cases. When
the player's retired, as Kobe had in this case, I think it's great.
Yeah, totally. Especially then. Otherwise, like I'm going to go back to back in the days when I was collecting like O-Pee-Chee hockey sets and Topps basketball sets in the early 80s, Topps football, Topps baseball. I would have wanted a current picture. So in that situation, I definitely agree with Tom Newman's what he's maybe insinuating here. But in today's sports card world, where there's so many post-playing days cards and so many different sets, I don't mind when they use maybe an older photo, because you have options for new photos as well. So only because you have the option, though. If you didn't, then I'd be more towards what Tom is insinuating here. David says, yeah, national treasures are sports store jerseys, flawless or game worn. And that's why I personally think NT non-game used is just, there's so much value given to the brand versus what the components of the card are. And I mean, brand is very important, but I think in the long run, I see that shifting personally. Yeah, Ear says NT Luca not game worn, flawless Luca game worn. The Star Swatch Lucas are sort of like the limited logos of flawless basketball. Okay, let's go to the last few cards here, guys. We have 2 Wembys and a Caitlin. Oh, the Caitlin's a 40. Let's start with a Caitlin, $43,000 Panini Instant WNBA Draft Blue Viper rookie auto 1 of 1. Caitlin Clark. This is a Caitlin Clark 1 of 1, you guys. Blue Viper. That's a nice design, actually. Sticker auto is going to fetch 43,000. I guess that's what it's doing. Caitlin Clark is among the most popular basketball players in the world right now. I'd have to. Oh, Adam's showing on the cover of the. Hold on, Adam. Let me spotlight you. Keep it up there. Keep it up there, guys. The latest edition of BCF has that card on the cover. If you are not yet subscribed to BCF, bcfmag.com, go subscribe. Thanks for sharing that, Adam. That's really cool. There's the card on the mat. Now if you have this card, you need to subscribe to the magazine too. If you don't have the card, you need to subscribe to the magazine too.
When the magazine was coming out and we were doing the piece on Caitlin, I reached out to Panini. Panini is one of our sponsors. We're really grateful to have them as a sponsor. And I just asked, what big Caitlin cards do you guys have coming out? And so if you look carefully, you'll notice this is the card like with the autograph before it was actually signed. So it's what is it, 3 months old now? Yeah, it's from May, so it's a few months old. But
it's an older cover.
It's really cool. Like I like that she has a first autograph that's really clear, and we're all still just sort of waiting on Prism. I know I'm not the only one that's really excited to see the Caitlin Clark Prism cards come out. That's going to be a big deal, but this will always be the first autograph, and I think that will always matter.
And it looks like Yair might be bidding on it tonight. Now I have Yair here says NTRPA is just so beautiful compared to flawless. I mean, I do not agree with that. To me, not even I much prefer flawless and immaculate aesthetics and design to NT myself. I'm just Hey,
Yair is talking about the Caitlin Black Prism. That will be, if that ever hits open auction, that'll be one of the most interesting auctions ever. It really will, because this is the question I would ask you, Jeremy. How many basketball players ever, since we've had Prism, have had more anticipation for their card? How many have had more anticipation across the board than Caitlin Clark?
Well, Shaq.
Well, Prism rookies.
Oh, Prism. I mean, Zion, maybe Luca, and maybe Wemby. I mean, but is Caitlin even more? You tell me. I mean,
I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I think you gave the list. Like, I don't think it's anybody else. It might be those 3. Is it?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
All right. Okay, let's finish off here with this row here. We do have the Donruss Optic Fast Break Black Wemby 1 of 1. PSA 8 at $20,250. On the other side, the Topps Now Draft Inscription Red Wemby Rookie 10 of 10. Pop 3, 2 higher, $6,500. And in the middle, CJ Stroud Panini Prism No Huddle Neon out of 5. PSA 10 at $15,500. So those are the final 3 cards. Adam, if you'd like to say anything about these, about the Wembys or even the CJ Stroud, please go ahead. And then what I want to do after that, we have a couple things on the agenda, guys. Here's what's coming up next. First of all, we are going to talk about a question that came in from Simon466 about 5 minutes ago. We're going to go through some more comments from you guys, and then we're going to go back to the auction. We're going to resort by highest price and see what are the highest prices, and then we're going to do a bunch of back-to-back this or that's that we have ready to go, and we're going to have some fun with that. So let's start off. I forget, what was the first thing we were going to do, Adam? You were going to speak to the Wembys.
Well, I wanted to see this Wemby, whether the one on the right, what the inscription is. I can't see it from this view.
Let me open that up for you. 2023 number 1 pick.
That's cool. That's neat. That's a neat inscription. The thing that you've got to give Topps and Fanatics a lot of credit for is they've sort of tried to work around the not having the licenses. Like, it seems like they're asking the question, what cool things can we do to sort of drive value and importance? And this year was the only year where writing #1 draft pick on something made a lot of sense. And so something like this inscription, I really like that. I think that's a really neat card. It'll be, we'll see whether Wemby stays healthy and what he becomes. If he does stay healthy, he's going to be one of the all-time greats. There's just no question about it. And I think that it'll be really interesting as time goes by to see how people look at cards that came out in his rookie year. I've heard a lot of people say, you shouldn't buy this stuff. You shouldn't. It's just not going to hold. And maybe they're right. That's certainly been true for most not licensed stuff. And you can go listen to other people talk about that. But it's also true that people will want to put together rainbows or runs of things. And if you look back and you go, well, I want the Topps Chrome run. I want to get all of the golds or all of the oranges or whatever. Like, even though that first one isn't going to be licensed, it's still going to be, it's still going to be part of the run in some people's minds. Some people will say, I just don't want it. It's not NBA licensed, but I think it might be different. So it'll be interesting to see what time tells us.
And if you like suit cards, like the #1 influencer on Instagram, MK Sports Cards does, then this card is right up your alley, a suit card. He loves his suit cards. Okay. And I'm just poking fun. All right. Let's do some comments here and see where we're at. And then we're going to sort. So we'll come back to Simon's in a moment. Dr. Ghost Hunters is shouting out BCF. Jeffrey Kennedy, good to see us, says Caitlin Clark. Nick Leach agrees with me on the difference between the NT and the Flawless. Wills is letting us know the Cajun Cardboard is buying up all the Caitlin Clarks. David says, interesting on Wemby with the upcoming Mercury release, it's going to around triple the number of autograph cards released.
Wow.
That's what card companies do when they have an opportunity. That's what they do. Grant Slayton, what's going on? Grant says, this Caitlin is selling for more than some MJ 90s grails. Here we are at $43,000. Vintage says that Caitlin has so many similarities to Steph, could change the WNBA forever. Rodman's PC, everybody, from Honduras. What's going on, Rodman? Always a pleasure to see you, my man. And Yair says, will these Panini Instants be the only Caitlin Clark autograph cards in her rookie year? I don't know, Adam. Can you comment on that? Do you have a thought on that?
I can't, but it's a terrifying thought. Because if it is, then these are just absolutely huge cards. But I can't imagine. I think we're going to see WNBA national treasures and flawless and stuff like that, because the pull for Caitlin is so big. I hope we see that. I hope we get our first ultra high end WNBA product. But given how late they are in Prism, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're just going to hit Prism and that's going to be it.
All right, let's do this now. Let's go to Simon asks a really good question, and I'm going to go to the very back to the very top, and I'm just kind of scanning to see how prices have moved since we started the show and looking at the cards 2 hours ago. 31 on. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to go here. We're now going to resort by highest price. And while that is sorting, we're going to look at Simon's comment right here, where he says, hello, gentlemen. Forgive me if you've discussed this before, but what are your thoughts on the Premier Auction format where all cards end at the same time versus the weekly format where each card closes individually? It's a great question. And I think about it because I do shows for the Premier Auction here once a month with Adam, and we've been doing this for 3.5 years now, every month. But I also do weekly hockey shows about three Sundays a month on when the weekly ends, and they all end at a different time. And I can tell you that from the host's perspective, which doesn't matter, the weekly is more fun. Not that doing the show is more fun than doing this with Adam, but just because you get to watch cards end. Okay, now there's 20 cards left. Now there's 3 cards left, guys. What's going to be the last card? That's kind of fun. But from a business perspective, both being the predecessor PWCC, the Fanatics Collect, and the consigner, I think that by making them all at the same time, you're maximizing the value of the cards because you are keeping them the auctions live for longer, giving people more time to decide if they want to buy a card, because they might get priced out on something. And then they can say, well, I got priced out on this one. I'm going to go bid on this other card. The whole auction's still alive. Where in the weekly, if you were choosing between 2 cards, you waited for card number 2. Card number 1 is sold now. Card number 2 you're waiting for, and then it spikes up in value. You're like, oh, I'm priced out now. I wish I would have bought card number 1. Well, you can't go back and do it because it's ended. So I think that, from a bidder's perspective, you might prefer they each close individually. From a auction company perspective, a consignor's perspective, you probably prefer it this way. And I think that's why it's been done like this. This is the way they're all the big auctions are done, is like all the major auction houses in the space are done. It's done this way. They did open up, what was that? It's already a year and a half ago where they went from, exclusive extended bidding to all access. Now you don't have to get in a bid before. So those are my thoughts. I want to keep that as quick as I just did, even though it wasn't very quick, so I can give Adam a turn to comment on it.
You said everything I would say. The only thing I would highlight is that point that you made about having 2 cards in the auction. To me, it's happened so many times where I let something go because I want something else more, and then that thing that I wanted more ends up going way too high, and I wish I could just go back, and that's too bad. And this format solves for that. It's a wonderful thing when you're like, I've got X number of dollars, I've got 2 cards I really want. I can now sort of see what one's going to go for and then sort of bid accordingly. And if I'm a seller, I am really happy that this format allows for that, because it unquestionably gets people to bid more, and that's the way it should be. You shouldn't sort of not be able to go back and get that chance. So you're
right.
spot on.
The function of the auction house is to maximize the sales price for its consigners. That's really one of the main functions. Now, a really good comment here from Vintage says this auction format is fine because they accelerate the clock, which is very true. They are, unlike some of the more, traditional auction houses in the space. And here Vintage names Memory Lane, REA. I think you could put Heritage in that pile, several others, pretty much all of them. Those auctions can go really, really late into the morning. So Will says it's annoying this way, waste of time. Time is valuable. Yeah, but that's that.
I've had times where you're in a one lot auction where they close individually, where I felt the same way as Will's does here. Where like
you want to
on and it's like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's like, man, here I am. And it becomes sort of this battle of attrition. It's like not who wants the card most, who's going to stay up later. And you're never going to bid more than that one increment because you just, you think maybe that guy's going to go to sleep. Maybe that guy's going to sleep. And I don't like that. That to me, I would rather do this because just as you said, Jeremy, I think you're spot on here. Those 1 minute increments, it's going to end. And it doesn't go that late here. We don't go to midnight. That doesn't happen.
Right. Not here. Look at this. We're down to 11 seconds on the clock. Speaking of which,
right now. Yeah.
No, it just got a bid just came in. So, and the other thing about this, and this is just to Will's where he says, it's a waste of time. Time is valuable. Well, put in your best bid and go to sleep is the other thing you could do. And I know it's not as much fun. I'm not trying to give you a solution to this because I don't think they're going to change it. But at the same time, I can bid on an auction and do many things at the same time. So I'm not wasting my time sitting there watching, unless you're watching several of them and you really need to stay on top of them. But that's the cost of doing business. Takes time to curate your collection. That's definitely for sure. Good evening to Joe Perot, my guy from Santa Cruz. David says, I'm generally indifferent to the premier ending process, but the weekly ending process is by far the absolute worst of all auction houses. So he does not like the weekly ending process.
I love the weekly. I love it.
I do too. I do too. It might not be as good for consigners, but I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I've covered so many of these now I've been covering them since they started them. And I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it's bad at all. I think from a bidding perspective, especially if I've got like 10 items that I'm looking at, I love that. I think it's a lot of fun.
Zach is on the edge of his seat watching a card. Nick likes the Premier format. Way better. Fun to be. Yeah, Zach says fun to be on both sides of a Premier, buying and selling. Very cool, Zach. Very cool. Good luck to you on both sides of that. Okay, Adam, now we have resorted to highest first. I'm actually going to refresh just because we spent some time talking. There could be a few bids that came in. Caitlin's up to 47,000 now. By the way, I just caught a look at that. Eric Stefano, good evening to you. Thank you for dropping in. Number one card in the auction right now is the Steph Curry. Oh, in the sports cards, because we're not looking at the Illustrator. The Steph Curry auto patch NT, 120,000. Kobe's been bid up from 100 to 110. The MJ Jersey Auto, 85,000. The Topps Chrome Refractor Kobe, 85, 80 on the Mbappe, still 77.5 on the Kanji Auto Shohei. And I'm not going to read these all out. We'll just kind of scroll through. Caitlin's moved up to 48,000 now. Look at the Brady and the Manning, 44 on the SP Authentic PSA 10 and 43 on the Peyton Manning 101 Masterpiece. 38. I think this was at 32 when we last saw it. The Barry Sanders PMG Red. 39K on the 9.5 Jordan 86 Fleer. 38 on the nice Jordan penmanship auto. 35, 37 on the beautiful Jackie. 32 on the PSA 9 Brady Bowman Chrome Refractor. Yeah, not a ton of movement on some of these, but definitely some movement on some of them. I'm surprised that this Babe Ruth is still at 24,500. Just because it's so nice. This is a situation where, you know, the eye appeal, and I don't know what comps are on a 4.5. To be honest, I'm not really sure what a comp is on this. So if the comps are 18 or 19 or 20,000, then this is doing very well. But I think it's still great value. What a great copy. It's just that it has that damage on the back. Jordan J Hart's at 19.5. Okay, so here we go. What we'll do now is we'll resort again, Adam, but I know you're going to like this. We're going to now sort by newest bid, most recent bid. So we can see where the most recent bids are coming in. And while we are sort of watching this, we're going to put on some overlays on the screen, guys. And you can see Wemby, Caitlin, Barry Sanders, PMG, Gunnar Henderson 101, the triple logo man. These are all the cards getting the bids lately. David says Ruth comps on 4.5 or $20,000 to $30,000 this year. And that one is sitting at 24.5 right now. It's got to be among the nicest 4.5s ever. So I would expect it to get some more bid. But actually, it's almost at 30,000 with the juice. So it's already at the high end of that, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that info, David. Okay, guys, let's do this. Let's do a this or that, Adam. Let's see if the crowd enjoys these. We have 5 of them. We're going to start at the top, guys. And this, if you remember last month, me and Adam had to move over here to still see what was going on. But here we go. This or that. Which, if you guys could purchase either of these cards, which one would you buy? Would you buy the Steph Curry or the Michael Jordan? Now, the Steph Curry is currently at like 100. What?
I was just going to say, wait, because I thought you were going to say what you thought, and we wanted to give people a chance to vote before.
No, I was just going to say what I thought the prices were at now of them.
Okay.
I think the Steph is at 120, and the Jordan is at like 30 or 40 or something like that.
No, the Jordan was 80 last time we saw
it. Sorry about that. 80 then. I can't remember all these cards, you guys. I'm trying to find the Jordan here. Maybe it hasn't. Is it near the? Oh, it's the Jordan is the last card to get a bid out of all cards right now at 85,000.
Yeah,
it's the bottom of the list. Comments why? All right, we've got. What do we have here? Zach Swisher has taken the Curry. LGC has taken the MJ. Leach has taken the Curry. Vintage has taken the Steph. Grant has taken the Curry. David has taken the Curry. Yair has taken the MJ. Jeff has taken the MJ. I mean, it's kind of a split vote there. Gary has taken the MJ. Kind of a split vote. I'm taking, I don't know. I think I'm taking the MJ, Adam. I think I'm taking the MJ. But it's tough because I'm a big fan of Steph Curry. Like, you know, my buddy Joe Perot is a huge Warriors fan. He's one of my best buddies, and he loves Steph Curry. It's a great looking card. It's a true RPA. I don't know. But the Jordan is the Jordan. It's the first Bulls jersey auto. I might go Curry because the Jordan auto is a little bit lighter, while the Curry auto is wonderful. Good gosh. I'm not sure. David points out there are multiple copies of the MJs with different images, and Grant confirms there are 6 different versions. That's gonna tip the scale for me to Curry. Actually, is that there's 6 different MJs. Adam, what's your answer?
It's a really good question.
I know.
for me, the answer is Curry. It's and I love both cards. The Curry's maybe the card of the era. It's the second best RPA in existence. And when you talk about Curry, you're going to mention a couple of cards at the very top, and this is one of them. With Jordan, you can talk for a while before you get to this one. But with that said, I would love that Michael Jordan card. So great this or that, Jeremy. This is a great question.
Yeah, and I I'm not surprised that we're all having trouble with it, especially you, because I know that you have so much esteem for a rare card with an auto and a jersey and a first jersey and all. Like I'm a little surprised you go Curry, but I'm not surprised. I'm just like, okay, good. Glad to hear it.
In Curry's pantheon, it's right. You know where it is. And with Jordan, you got to talk for a bit before you get there.
Right. Jeff Kennedy has taken the Curry because the auto and the MJ is turning color a little bit. Mike Nunya, MJ all day, doesn't even have to think about it. Gary Keith says, I prefer that card and a nice auto. Yeah, that makes sense. David says, although Curry has a different serial numbering with the color foils, yes, but that's kind of I hear those are parallels while the Jordans are variations, and there is a difference there. It's hobby nuance, but there is a difference, and I appreciate David calling that out. Mike Nunya says, is that Curry game used? It's not, says Adam. That's a big deal to me. Yair says there are more Curry NTRPAs than all 6 versions of the MJ game jersey auto. Interesting. Yeah, okay, I might have to shift back to Jordan now, you guys. Couple of new facts came to the table. All right, let's go to the next this or that, guys. Are you ready? I'm not going to wait for an answer to that. The next one is going to be this one right here. 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth number 144 and a PSA 4.5, or a 1953 Topps Jackie Robinson in a PSA 8 with the NBA gold sticker. Which one are you preferring? And right now, the Babe Ruth is at 24,500, and the Jackie, I'm looking for it right now, behind the scenes here, is at 37,000. So the Jackie is about 50% higher. Now I'm going to answer first. Well, I'll answer first. That's okay. For me, Adam, I'm taking the Babe Ruth all day long. It's not even close for me. Not even close. I do love that Jackie. Don't get me wrong. It is a wonderful, wonderful card. But for me, I'd rather have Jackie's 48 leaf, his 49 Bowman, or 49 leaf, whatever you want to call it. I actually brought my relief book with me on this trip to read. But I'm going with the Babe Ruth. To me, it's not even close for me. Adam, where are you at? And then we'll see what the audience is saying, what the chat is saying.
Well, after we looked at the Ruth in so much detail, it's hard to not say the Ruth, but man, that Jackie's just so nice as well. And I love that it's the first card from the 53. And I hear what you're saying, that he has other cards you'd rather have, but there's other cards of Ruth I'd rather have, right? There are.
Not me.
Well, okay. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I love that you feel that way. There's earlier cards of his too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Jackie. And I know that disappoints you.
I love that you do. And just to your comment, so there are earlier cards of Ruth, like the Baltimore News, the cards from 1914 or 15, 16. I don't like the aesthetically. They're black and whites, and yes, right. They're earlier and they're worth more, no doubt. But this, to me, this Ruth has everything going for it. It's just so. I mean, guys, it's my favorite card in the hobby now. Okay, like simple as that. It's my favorite. So I'm not gonna say anything over it personally. I just love it. Okay.
I do want to add to your case real quick. When we pulled the experts and we said what are the most iconic cards of all time, they put the Ruths, which we put in one group, all 4 of the 33 Gaudies. I was shocked at this. They put that card as the number 4 overall most iconic card of all time. And it's because the other Ruths, some of those early ones, they might be worth a lot more, but you're right, Jeremy. They don't measure up as far as aesthetics go. And so I don't think you might sway me just by saying that, honestly. I love that the Jackie's the first card in the set. I love that. I love that history. And this copy is like one of the nicest ones in existence. And it's
for sure
hard to go away from that.
For sure. Yeah, no, I can't disagree with anything you just said. David says Ruth, not even close. LGC takes Jackie. Nick Leach takes Ruth. Vintage takes Ruth. Yair says his math is off. Jeff Kennedy says Ruth. Jeff Derrico is taking Jackie. Gary is taking Ruth. Sundin is taking Ruth. And Tom Newman throws a $9.99 tip to the host. Thank you, Tom Newman. Grateful for your support. And that tells me that you are enjoying this show. And I'm just want to say thank you for that indication on behalf of myself and Adam. Nick Leach says it says Big League Chewing Gum, which created its own iconic brand. I love that about it too. I mean, Big League Chewing Gum, Adam, is so entrenched in baseball. You know, it like the cover of the packaging is a baseball player.
Honestly, you guys have swayed me. I hate admitting it because I hate changing. But I came into this tonight thinking I do love the Jackie, but given how nice the Ruth is, and you're right about the aesthetics of it, and it's I mean, we don't think about them like they're that far off as far as age goes. The Ruth is 2 decades older. Like, it is so much older. So I'm gonna go with the Ruth. I'm gonna go with the Ruth. I changed my vote.
You're allowed to change. You're allowed to change your vote. I love it. And I mean, I'm just sitting here. I'm giddy for the card. It's like I love my copy of it. I love that I can say, like, with full conviction that it's my favorite card in the hobby. It's Babe freaking Ruth.
Yeah.
Like, he's up there with Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali and Tiger Woods. I know these guys aren't all the same level. I know that, guys. But he transcends sport, just like those other guys do. And I'm not saying Jackie doesn't. Jackie is one of the most important sports figures in the history. I get that. And listen, the funny thing is that this Ruth took the place of the 48 leaf Jackie as my favorite card. So it's not like I don't like Jackie or his cards. Yeah.
But thinking of it in terms of recognizability and how iconic they are, the fact that Jackie is no better than his third most iconic card, and no one's going to argue that it's higher than third. You're not. But with Ruth,
it's fourth.
Yeah. Well, what other one?
48, 49, and 52 tops. Oh, and yeah, it won't be better than his 50 Bowman. I mean, I love that card, but I don't think that's in play.
I would say, you're gonna not like this. I would say it's third in terms of recognizability after the Leaf and after the 52 tops.
Oh, so you're saying the bow? Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you probably are right.
With that said, the Ruth is number one for Ruth, right? That's I don't want to bury the lead. Like, it's his number one most recognizable card. It's hard to not be swayed by that. And I love Jackie Robinson. I love the story. But I'm with you. Like, Ruth is higher on the list to me. He is. He's with that first group. And so as you sort of talk through that, and as I thought through it, I thought, you swayed me, darn it. I hate to admit it, but you did. You swayed me.
Oh no, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. One quick sec here. I just have to send a family text for a moment. There we go. Okay. And then Gary Keith says, if you're enjoying the stream, please engage the like button. Sports fans. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you, buddy. All right. Let's move on to the next this or that. The auction is still going. The clock keeps on resetting. We'll do one more, and then we'll have a look at seeing what the most recent bids that have come in are. Now, this is interesting. We have 2 football players here, guys. 2 football players. We have the Joe Montana 81 Tops PSA 10 and the Lionel Messi Mega Cracks BGS 9.5. Now, this is one, Adam, where, a few years ago, it's the Joe Montana hands down for me. But now I think to myself, and listen, I am not a soccer fan, so I have to figure out, why would I say the Messi over the Montana when I'm a Montana fan? I mean, I remember him winning the Super Bowls, Montana and Rice. I was watching those Super Bowls back in those days. Big fan of Joe Montana. Everything about he just seems like a great guy. But I look at and I might be wrong on this, and if I am, I'll come back to Joe. But overall print run, I feel like there's just so many more Montanas out there. 3, 2, 1. No, there's. Oh, wait. Let's make sure, Adam. Let's make sure.
Yeah, it's counting.
We had a bid. Okay, back to this. I just feel like there are so many more Montanas in the print run, like copies produced, than Messi. for that reason, and the fact that Messi, soccer, global sport, Messi, all-time great, top 5 all-time players, maybe number 1 most popular ever. I think I go with the Mega Cracks, even though I'm not crazy about the look of the card. I think I still go that way, which I even saying this, I feel a little bit of shame saying that, just that I would take it over Montana, but that's kind of where I think I am right now. What about you?
Well, notwithstanding what you said earlier about the Montana's condition and how you looked it over, and the the confidence that I put in that, I love rare cards. I just do. I love rare cards. And if you had to say which, how many more of the Montanas have been printed than the Messis, there's hundreds of X. Like, there's so many more, hundreds of the Montanas, thousands of Montanas more than the Messis that were produced. Soccer is such a growing sport, and in terms of where these cards will be in 10 years and 20 years, I'm with you, man. I think I go with the Messi as well.
Okay, well, let's go to the crowd now and see what they're saying. First of all, Jeff Kennedy says that Ruth is Mount Rushmore material as far as sports ball cards go. Sports ball cards go. I like that. Yeah, I'm with you. All right. And Vintage says the 56 Jackie gives the 53 a run for its money. Vintage says I hate soccer, but would still take Messi. Tom Newman wants to, what's my favorite NFL team? Gosh, I go with what my friends like. So it's going to be between the Vikings, the 49ers, and the Green Bay Packers, probably. Those are my closest friends or fans of those teams. I don't have a personal favorite, Tom Newman. I really don't. I've tried, but I just can't, get my heart into it. I like watching football, but I'm not a fan of any specific team personally. So I just root for my friends' favorite teams. Ear says, I've heard there are 800 Messis or so, but I can't confirm that. If that's the case, then that's an easy slam dunk for Messi. Nick Leach says, I feel Messi is a legend. Licensed versus unlicensed says that. Yeah, it doesn't bother me that the Montana is unlicensed. It's his only rookie card. And I mean, maybe, we're going through another phase of unlicensed right now. So we'll see how those compare to these. But back then, I didn't even know, when I was buying this stuff back in 1981, 82, I didn't even know it was unlicensed. I didn't realize that. It's not an issue.
What's interesting, too, is if you look at this Montana, it says 49ers there in the bottom left. But the San Antonio cards that are out right now, correct me if I'm wrong, on the Wemby cards, I think they just say San Antonio. I don't think they ever say Spurs anymore.
Fair. Gary is going with the Messi. Yair says Messi is definitely the play here. In my opinion, will be the greatest soccer card ever made. That's big high praise right there. Zach says never more topical than now, exactly, on the unlicensed side of things. David says Messi shows nearly 800 in just the PSA pop, so there must be more. He's going with the Montana. Yair says probably 150 cracked and regraded at least. That's true, because it was such a cheap card for a while. David says how many Messis are running around Europe raw? Hundreds easy. Yep, could be. LGC is taking the Joe Montana. All right, let's move on to the next.
Last thought, Joe, in terms of recognizability, I think you can still make the case that the Joe Montana is the most iconic football card of all time, notwithstanding Brady passing him in terms of all the rankings. The card itself it's just one of the all-time great cards. But in soccer, the Messi, along with the Alifa Boulanger that we talked about, and the Ronaldo Mega Cracks, that's it. That's it for soccer. So 2 really iconic cards you picked here, Jeremy.
Currency Project has taken the Messi as well. All right, let's go to the next one.
Let's ask the chat before we talk this time. I don't know if we did that last time.
Sure. Here's the next one, guys. We have the 51 Bowman, Willie Mays, his one and only true rookie card, versus the 57 Topps Bill Russell, his one and only true rookie card. I believe both SGC slabs, both in the 5 family. It's a 5 on the Russell, a 5.5 on the Mays. One thing I want to go while you guys are putting your vote in on Mays versus Russell here, guys, card versus card. I want to go back to Adam's comment. That Montana might be the most iconic football card of all time. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm thinking now you said that. So I'm thinking the only other guys that come to mind for me outside of Brady, and I don't know that Brady has one, is the contenders more iconic. I mean, I think about the only two cards that pop into my mind are the Joe Namath, the tall boy, and the Jim Brown. But I'm not saying either of them is. I'm just putting them out there for discussion. I think those are both kind of maybe in the discussion, but I'm not saying either one of them is more iconic than the Joe Montana. Adam, do you have any thought on that? Are you grabbing the book?
Just knocking down all my books as I do it. I want to see what, but I think you're spot on. I think those are the only ones that the Brady is just so much more appealing to the modern collector, and we have to include what the modern collectors think in these sort of discussions. And I know some of the old heads don't like that, but the Brady contenders and the Brady Bowman Chrome, I think, are really high on that list. But I agree. I personally, even though that's how it came out in our list, I think the Montana, I think the Namath, the Jim Brown, those ones are really high. And I think and the Jerry Rice, the Elway, like those are also high. Not those ones. The Jerry Rice is really high. The Jerry Rice is a really high card, but I think it's the Montana of all.
Yeah, but I would just say, and I think you're right, Jerry Rice. I mean, as far as 80s goes, it's probably number 2 after Montana, but I think it's still behind Montana. So I then go back in time, and I think, I can't think of, like, Walter Payton. Great card. 76 tops Walter Payton is in the discussion as well. But I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm putting anyone else. I mean, I can't think of anyone else to put in there. Bronco. I don't think it's a great card, but I don't think it's a Mount Rushmore, but it might not be the most iconic, right?
Right. So this is how we ranked it 2 years ago. Brady is 6 overall. Montana is 18. And then Rice is 25. And those are the only 3 football cards that ended up in the top.
No Walter Payton?
Yeah, Payton's 27. Payton's right on the heels. But yeah, those are the 3 that ended up the highest.
How about where are Namath and Jim Brown on that at that time?
Namath is 34 and Jim Brown. I'm sorry, I'm just going through the index. I'm probably Oh, I missed Jim Brown. I'm sorry. Jim Brown was 20. So there are 4 cards in the top 20.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, let's go to some comments now. We're going to be, we'll talk about the Mays versus Russell, but there will be some more trickling comments on the last one. So Yair says, even if the number is 1,000 Messi, still very small compared to Montana. Makes good sense to me.
Yeah.
Jeff says that the Messi in PSA 10 is pop 19. That's very lean. David says, I lean Russell, but it's close just because this particular Russell is so good. Yeah, I think that's really fair. Nick has taken Russell. Gary has taken Willie Mays. LGC has taken Willie Mays. Jeff Kennedy wants both the Mays and the Russell. You can't make me choose. You don't have to choose. It's okay. But let me ask you this, Jeff. Which one are you putting the bid on first tonight then? Because if you're going to bid on both, one's got to be that first bid. Who are you bidding on first? Jeff Kennedy says, add Walter. We're on the same page there, Jeff, for sure, on the Walter Payton. Yair says, this is tough. That Russell is a super nice 5, but the Mays is more iconic, to be honest, because vintage baseball is king, and the Mays 51 is top 8 vintage. I agree with everything he says there. Nick Leach says Brady contenders and Jerry Rice are good options there. David says, I'm old school. Go ahead and keep telling me recency bias doesn't exist, though. Zach says Mays rookie is iconic, but Russell and this copy carry so much weight. Yeah. Mark F. Easily Mays, undervalued due to it being smaller sized. Yeah, but the most expensive card in the hobby is smaller sized. I'm just saying, Mark. I mean, but is that the reason? I mean, the T206s are all small. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't know if that's stolen bases. Crazy day in the office for Shohei today. Okay, so I think on this one we're kind of leaning Mays. Maybe I'm not exactly sure.
What about you? What about you?
Oh man, you got to do it to me too, huh? Hey, I guess I have to.
You went first last time. Do you want me to go first this time?
Sure.
So this people have made compelling arguments here. I go Russell because for Russell, it's clearly the card. You can talk in terms of like who's more important, and you can compare these two guys. But Russell only has a few cards, and this is the Russell card. They both have a lot of similarities, though. We always look at the centering with both of these cards right off. We always look at the registration and the snow or the white stuff that we see in the name block with the Mays. They're both unreal copies. But the fact that Russell is as dead centered as it is, to me, it tips the scales for me. And but I say tips the scales. For me, it wasn't as close as it was for most, I think, people on here, because it is his only big card. And I'd be interested to look at the pops. I think the Russell's rarer by quite a bit. I could be wrong.
Probably. It's baseball versus. I think you're probably right. I listen. I everything you said makes a ton of sense to me. I'm going to read these last 3 comments while I buy time on having to come up with my opinion on this. David says, so many of these Russells are so far off center. This is an amazing 8, and it's a 5. So there is that. Diamond says, Russell, for me personally, GOAT with 11 rings. Yes, David's clears up there. Amazing 5. And he's right. It is an amazing 5. I'm gonna lean towards what I think is putting me over the edge here was a comment that came in. I'm trying to find it here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the comment.
Hey, while you find it, the Russell, when we did the list, was 17, and the Maze was 29. So really 2 really close cards in terms of just their overall importance in the history of the hobby.
So okay. So I'm going to go with, and this what puts me over the, and now I own both of these cards. I love my copies of both of these cards. I had the Russell first. I bought the Maze after, but I wanted the Maze for probably longer than I wanted the Russell. It just took me a while to find the copy that I wanted. That said, it's Yair's comment that sways me where he says, vintage baseball is king. And it's not because it's king, but it's king to me as well. I love my vintage hockey, but I think I love my vintage baseball even more. I just do. So I'm going to go with the Maze. To me, it's his most important card, even though the 52 tops probably sells for more, like grade for grade. But to me, it's the Maze. But it's Adam. It's not like it's an easy decision. Yeah. It's not like it's way more. We're talking 1A and 1B here, like that, for most of these this or that, which is why, I think we're having fun with them tonight because they are all so close. Yair says Russell's historical significance has risen in recent years, which is interesting because the Maze historical significance was greater 40 plus years ago, even though Maze just passed away. So there is attention on him. Nick says Russell doesn't get any hobby love, although the rookie does. And so do his rare, his numbers patches from Exquisite. They do, but you're not seeing much love from him. The other problem with basketball vintage is that there's just so few cards between 1930. What's that? What's the first Bowman set? The Mikan set. 38, right? 48. Between 48 and 68, you got 3 sets. So
you really do.
There aren't a lot of options there.
But I didn't look up SGC, but I just looked up PSA. There's almost exactly twice as many Maze in the population as there are Russells.
And that, to me, tells me that the Maze is still rarer because I think more people would be after the baseball card than the basketball card. So not rare, maybe rare isn't the word, but scarce might be the word because
scarce.
When you bring
this goes back to Yair's point, which is a great one. I agree with you. It sways me too a little bit. The fact that baseball is as beloved as it is, and it's always been as important as it is during at least our lifetimes, that does speak to me, even though I'm a basketball collector. And of course, I'm going to choose the basketball card from that perspective. But putting my basketball collector part aside, that argument, it does sway me. Baseball means more in terms of the broader conversation. But personal likes and the fact that it is maybe not scarcer, but it is a rarer card. There's fewer of the Russell. I'm confident in saying that.
Right.
I do lean Russell, but then you go to the centering too, and again that's Russell to me as well. So
yeah. And just to clarify, rare to me means how many cards were produced. Scarcity brings demand into the equation and says, well, if there's more demand for the Maze, if there's more demand for twice as many Maze than there is for half as many Russells, then the Maze is scarcer, even though the Russell is rarer. I hope that was clear. I don't know how clear that was.
What's the price on both of these?
Good question. Well, let's go have a look. Let me clear the screen there. And so we are the auction's still going strong. This, we haven't refreshed this in a while, so let's refresh and see what the most recent cards with bids, and maybe one of those will rise to the top here, but if not, we'll scroll down to them. Russell's at the top, $10,000 on the Russell,
and Maze is at 12 grand.
So they're neck and neck.
Yeah, they are.
And here's a much more expensive Maze. It's a higher grade, 26,250. So where's the Maze? Even though you said 12 grand, I did hear you. There it is, 12 grand on the Maze. Yep. And it hasn't had a bid in a while. Okay. Let's go back. That was
really good one, Jeremy. That was a good one. These have all been great. These have all been great.
Well, are you ready for the last one?
I am.
Barry Sanders, PMG red, numbered out of 135, serially numbered to 150. We're at, I think, 40-something thousand on that versus the Tom Brady SP Authentic PSA 10. This one is, I'll just leave this one's easy for me. Where are you at, Adam? Or do we want to let I mean, I think I just gave it away.
I think you did 4 out of 5 really good with Would You Rathers.
You don't like this one?
If the Barry was a PSA 5, I think it would be a good one.
Yeah. Well, the Barry's out of 135. It's not a rookie card. The Tom Brady's out of 1,250. It is a rookie card. The Sanders right now is at $45,000. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at this. 44,000 on the Tom Brady, 45,000 on the Barry Sanders.
Maybe you did a great would you rather or this or that, but maybe we in the chat or we here, I don't know, maybe others in the chat feel there's nothing wrong with choosing Brady, but for me, the fact that it's Barry's highest, it's one of his best cards and it's his highest graded, and the other one's out of 1,250 and there's a bunch of PSA 10s. Like, for me, it's the Sanders pretty easily.
Well, Adam, for me, it's the Barry Sanders and it's not even close. Like, it's like give first of all, I don't even like, he's not even in his jersey there, the Brady. Like, even though I coveted that card for so long, it's easy the Barry Sanders for me. It's not even close. So yeah, I think I've well, let's see what everyone's saying. First of all, Rage says Russell is the GOAT. Every finger on one for the pinky toe amongst all the color barrier stuff. He faced like Jackie. He said, hold my beer. Sorry, every finger and pinky toe has a ring. Yeah, Ear says Bowman 51, or sorry, Maze 51 Bowman sort of falls in the first of the modern sports cards and rise of pre-war America. The 52 Mantle, the poster child for this, obviously. Rage says vintage football, basketball, and hockey are far more scarce and high grade than baseball. Not even close. Okay, on to this or that. LGC has taken the Barry Sanders. David has taken the Barry Sanders because he would sell it. Gary has taken Barry Sanders. Nick Leach says Jeremy nailed these except for the last one. Hey, I'm trying, guys. I think I'm trying. I tried. Nick Leach has taken Barry. Vintage has taken Barry. Rage says, coming from a diehard Brady fan and almost just as much Barry fan, it's the Barry by a landslide. Yeah, we're all there. 45 and 44K. You cooked this last one, so he thinks I did all right. Rage says 8 for a PMG is high. Yeah, and it's a 9, Rage, even though it's not even an 8, it's a 9. Jeff says the condition is crazy. Give me that one. Nick Leach says I love Brady more, but I like Brady more than most, but Barry is the GOAT. Not My Chair is taken Barry. Hey, Not My Chair. First time we've seen you tonight. Welcome to the chat. And yet Ear says Barry Sanders. Jeff Derrico is just saying, forget these guys. Give me the messy. Give me the messy. All right. Well, that was fun, Adam. I mean, you know what? I think we did it right by doing them all sort of at the end after we got through the cards and kind of mixing them into the middle. So I think last time we did this, guys, we kind of did one and then waited 20 minutes and did another. I think it was better to do it all at the end as the auction's winding down. We've already gone through the cards. I say that because I had more fun with it myself this time. I think you did too. And I think the chat did as well. So thank you, everybody, for kind of playing along, or those of you that did at least. Thank you for playing along.
Hey, just looking back at my book here, the Tom Brady SP Authentic did make the list last time we did this. It was number 60. So pretty high on the list. I think that I haven't looked at a lot of like graphs on this card or anything, but isn't this pretty high for this card? Is this higher than it's been, or am I Am I remembering wrong?
The SPA? I think it's high, man. I mean, well, let's here. I'll go. Let's just go to Card Ladder and take a look. Let's log into Card Ladder and go to sales history. Even though I should probably go to the ladder, but I've been using the sales history lately. And we're going to go PSA 10, and we'll even put 1250 in there just to get rid of, because I don't have, it's a 2000 year card, isn't it? Probably don't need the 1250, but we'll do that. Okay. 30, let's sort now by price. Oh, Adam. Oh.
Wait, go back to the one you just did though. Is it really big? We haven't seen one sell in all of 2024.
Last one, PSA 10.
I mean, that makes you think a little bit. Like, oh, maybe that's why it's doing so.
Yeah. Yeah, I am in US currency, but thanks for checking. David says that the Brady making the list is ridiculous, and I'm sure I said that at the time. And Zach says, to the person winning the Russell, I just tapped out at 11K. Now the auction can end. But so yeah, look at that. October last year. So a year ago, 45K, 38 after, 43, over a year ago, 50 grand. And then look at that from this thing fell over 75% in 3 months from 210 to 50K. That might have been an outlier here, this 210, because you have 54, 66, 210, 50, 40. Something, I don't know. This isn't verified. This isn't verified. We have to ignore it. Oh, it's autographed. Never mind, guys. My bad. Thank you. I just noticed that, Ken. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Yair. I just noticed that, guys. My bad. But these ones aren't autographed.
Well, I think the fact that it hasn't sold in a year makes me pause a little bit on what I was just saying. I know we see it fairly regularly. I guess I didn't realize how irregularly we see a PSA 10. Does it make you think any different?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I take out the word signed, and yeah, we're 360. Oh no, that's also that one came through as well. Let's get rid of signed and auto. And now 181 was the high price on this card. March 8th, 2021, height of the peak during the pandemic. And then after that, 140, 131. Yeah, look, this thing just kind of tumbled. And now, where are we at with it now? When did it get a bid? I don't know if I'm going the right way here. Let's do a refresh. 11,250 on the Russell. Ooh, J-Love getting look at Caitlin Clark up to that's $75,000 out the door, Adam.
When Grant said Caitlin's selling for more than some MJ grails, I thought to myself, yeah, but like, isn't that her best card in existence right now? Like at least her best WNBA card?
Yeah. Steph got a bid up to 125. Now it was at 120 earlier. But let's Barry's at 45. We knew that. Austin Matthews Shield got a bid up to 7,000. 44K. So 44K there falls in. Yeah, right in here.
Remember to add the BP.
Shoot, you're right. I forgot. So we're now at 52.8 on this. So we can actually move up the chain here, up the ladder, I should say, to back in November 2020, which was right. That was the pandemic was taking hold at that time. So we're back to then, but it did climb by 2021. In any event,
that's what happens when it doesn't sell for a year.
Yeah, I suppose so. Let's see what else we have here. Guy's telling it was auto. Yes. Diamond says now that the Brady SPA PSA 1010 IP autos are a pop 8 now instead of 1. Maybe the non-auto is a bit rarer.
That's true. He's right. What is the 10? What is the population on the 10?
Well, that should be easy enough to find right over here.
This is one of the most interesting things in the hobby to look at right now.
106
on autographed, because everybody is loving the in-person autograph stuff. This question right here is he's not a question, but it's a
That,
great.
let me give it a read. Crazy swings in this auction. The clock went to zero multiple times at 8,250. Then we went up another 3K. Wild timing. That's the beauty for sellers. One card gets too high, and people bid on the other. That's exactly what we were talking about earlier, and that's why this may not be a favorite for people who are trying to go to sleep while they're bidding, but it's a favorite for the auction house and the consigners, and that's every seller wants to maximize their return, obviously. So Zach says also would love to know the record for a Panini Instant card. Well, can we find the highest Panini Instant card in here? Let's see. We'll type
what I was saying about Pox point though, Jeremy. Like it went from 108 down to like 101. That may not make that big of a difference, but on a card that's like a pop 10 and a PSA 10, like that can make a huge difference when you start cracking those to get them signed.
Yeah, it could definitely. Yeah, maybe we're gonna see that on the Magic Johnson Larry Bird card. Maybe now this one sold for 170 with autos. But here we go. The highest price ever for a Panini Instant, according to Card Ladder's sales history data, was Fanatics Premier Auction, January of this year. Lionel Messi, auto 101, $126,000. And then it's a big sharp fall to the second, which is a Patrick Mahomes in 2017 at 55. No, that's not Panini Instant, is it? Prism Instant. Is that the same thing?
I don't think so. Instant Impact. It's an insert. It's
an insert, yeah. So I think it is this card here, the Messi at 126, and it's a big drop to about 25K on this Luka.
So this will be the second most expensive Panini Instant card ever.
Yeah. Looks to be that way. All right, where are we at here? 30 seconds, half a minute left in the auction right now. Let's go to the top and see the most recent bid. So Love and Clark and Jordan were there on the left. Let's let this thing refresh. Love, Caitlin, and Jordan. So Jordan is the only bid in the last couple. Well, it seems like maybe he's had one or two bids, but 10 seconds. This thing could be over right now. Let's see what happens here in the next 5 seconds, guys. I'm ready to go to sleep, so I'm personally hoping it ends because it's 12:30 out here, and I got to be up to go to the Philly show tomorrow, guys. We just hit the 3-hour mark for this live stream as well. So let's see. No, we're bids are still coming in. Let's refresh. Jordan, Love, and Clark across the top, and upon refresh, Burrow and the triple logo man are the cards that are keeping this auction alive right now. Grant wants to know, what time do these generally end? Is this one going long? Grant, these shows used to go for about 3.5 hours. Then they shortened to about 2.5 to 3. So I think we're really close. We're at 3 hours right now on this live stream. I think we're getting close to the end, Adam. Does that reconcile with what you think?
It does. Grant, I don't want you to tell us what, obviously, but are you bidding on a card, man?
You can just tell us if you're bidding on a card, Grant.
If he tells me what one, I think I'll know which one it is. So,
but tell me in the private chat. I won't say it out loud.
Okay.
I'm curious which one it is, and I won't scroll by it either. If I do, I'll scroll right by it because I don't want to give away. I don't want to show anybody's cards that aren't my own. That's for sure.
Grant, obviously, he doesn't need to answer anybody's questions. He can just tell me to shut up, and that's great too.
David says that I've got a feeling both the NT and the Flawless Burrows may have a couple more bids in them. Tom Newman has taken a public guess that Grant is going after the Rice.
What would you rather have? The Caitlin Clark Instant or the Messi that sold previously?
What do you mean this? Oh boy. The Messi.
And so the Panini Instant is the triple USA card that everybody's been talking about for the last month, like nonstop. Isn't that a Panini Instant card as well?
I don't know.
Oh no, of course it's not. Duh. I'm totally stupid. That's a Topps card. That's the
Topps Instant. It's a Topps now.
Yeah, which is the same sort of thing that Topps does. My bad. That was a dumb thing to say. But so that I would rather have a Caitlin Clark personally than the Messi. Like that's her big card, and she's not gonna have that many big cards.
Let's see what happens here. We're gonna refresh again. The last bid was the Burrow. And now we've had another bid on the Triple Logo Man, and the PSA 9 Mickey Mantle from 1961 is also there. Gary, that was an SGC 10 Mario Lemieux Opeachy rookie, which we talked about earlier in the night. And I said that I think it's the nicest copy I've ever seen. It's at $17,000. PSA 10s do 30 to 40, I think. At least they were. This one's at, the auction's over, Adam. The auction's over. The auction's over, everybody. The auction is over. The last item to get a bid was this Mickey Mantle. Let's sort by highest price. So, 3 hours and 5 minutes into the show, which is 2 hours and 35 minutes into extended bidding for anyone who's keeping track. NBA Guru says, told myself I wasn't buying any more cards, but that mantle is just too nice. Well, congratulations on that purchase. You're right. It is too nice, in my opinion, NBA Guru. So top card in the auction is the Steph Curry NTRPA, followed by the Kobe Bryant Champ PMG, followed by the Jordan Jersey Auto, the Kobe Topps Chrome Refractor, the Mbappe Gold Power out of 5, the Kanji Shohei Ohtani, and so on and so forth. 54K on the Barry. I remember when the greens were doing like 40, 50 grand, and now the red is doing it. I mean, that's 53,000 on the Tom Brady SP Authentic.
How much was the SGA? Sorry, we went past that one pretty quick.
Did we go past? 66K on the SGA Logo Man.
And 84 on the Caitlin.
84 on the Caitlin Clark.
Wow.
Big money on Caitlin. 43 on the Connor McDavid. 47 on the Jackie. Yeah, I mean, Messi 40K. I'm rounding now, guys. I'm tired. 37 on Montana. All right, guys, listen, we have to wrap up. I had a long travel day today, so we are going to wrap this one up. Thank you, Tom Newman. Says awesome show. Nick Leach must have won the Bill Russell. Congratulations, Nick Leach. If you took that down, that is huge. Gary, no worries. Gary, thank you so much. You rest up as well, my friend. Zach says, how much did this or that make you chase that card up, Nick? Interesting. I wonder if that had any impact at all. Zach says that auction is way over. Yes, it is. Chris Swanee, your Curry, congrats on your sale. Unless you bought it, congrats on your purchase. Diamond Card, thank you guys. Have a great night. You too. Adam, we got to wrap this one up because I am exhausted. Guys, in the chat, thank you everybody for being here. I will be walking the floor at the Philly show tomorrow and the next day. If you are there and you see me, please come and say hello. If I don't know you, but you recognize me and I don't, just say hi. Let's say hello. Let's have a fist pump. Take a selfie. You know how it goes. Hope to meet some people at the show here in Philly this weekend. Adam, any departing comments you would like to make?
Which Curry was Chris Swaney talking about?
Well, I was guessing the NTRPA, but I really don't know. He bought it. He bought it. Says he bought it.
That would be absolutely huge. If he did, massive congratulations. It's one of my favorite cards of the auction. And no, I said this in the chat just a minute ago. You guys were amazing in the chat tonight. And we say this every time, but this show is largely made by the comments that are here. But we love talking about cards, and Jeremy and I do. But when you guys jump in to say what you think and how you feel, even if when we totally disagree, it's the best. So thank you guys for being awesome. And Jeremy, as always, you hosted this thing amazingly and had a lot of fun.
Thank you. And as you say, reasonable people can disagree. If you won any cards tonight, congratulations. If you sold cards tonight, congratulations. If you were just here and hanging out, hey, thanks for hanging out with us. If you did win cards and you didn't use the Sports Cards Live affiliate link, you can use it before you pay for the auction. That would be awesome, especially if you want a card for $144,000. It doesn't cost you anything extra. I get a little bit of a cut out of what Fanatics would make, so you can help out the little guy. We'll see. and much appreciated. Congratulations again, Chris. Thank you, Jeff Kennedy. Thank you, Tom Newman. Sweet dreams to you as well. Guys, Adam, hang tight. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again here next month for the October Fanatics Collect Premier Auction. See you at the Philly show, everybody. This episode of the Fanatics Collect Premier Auction Extended Watch Party is now over, and I'm going to